Trivia Extravaganza. Hi, everybody. I only have my friend Pauline so far signed up and signed in, so that's okay. We don't. How are you, Pauline? You're in a whole nother
Oh
uh,
yeah, this is a new dimension.
new set of stairs.
I'm in Kyle's old room.
I see the
Um,
Rush poster in the back.
yeah, that's his. He's a big Rush fan. I'm in the middle of moving stuff around all over the house, and so I found one desk that was available, and I'm like, oh, I'll just sit here today.
That'll work. That'll work. Well, I have a great trivia signed up for it. Bill's not going to be with us today,
Right.
so I don't think I think people get the idea that if Bill's not here, we're not doing it. So,
Well,
which
yeah, and
is not the case.
I panicked at 8 o'clock. I ran around and went, oh no, and I came up here and went, wait, I didn't get the link yet from well, maybe we're not having it. Went back downstairs, got my candy from Halloween and started munching, and then went, oh no, come running back up.
Right. Okay. Well, you're here. That's awesome. It looks
Yeah,
like you. There's your kitty.
here's one. Say hi.
Is this their room?
They sort of like have claimed it now that Kyle moved out. Yeah.
Okay. Are there litter boxes in there?
In the bathroom, there's a bathroom in this off of this bedroom, so they have one in there.
Oh, okay.
So
And so do cats use different litter boxes? I thought
um,
like they had. I thought like the
I have
ownership.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 litter boxes in the house for 5 cats. Um,
Okay. So I guess that answers the
and
question.
yeah, and some have favorite litter boxes,
Mm.
and then there are ones that like using one litter box for one thing and a different litter box for another thing. Yeah,
Oh.
and
That's
then
why I would not have a litter box. I would have a enclosure that's attached to the house, so they have to go outside and do their business.
yeah, and if they're
But
outside all day, this one especially just would rather be outside and use the mulch in the yard. So,
mm-hmm. So there you
so
go. That's what I think is the best thing. Um, but I have a friend actually who has a little patio for their cats,
oh,
and then
catio,
it's a patio that's enclosed, but it
catio.
has an exterior caged in area for the cats to go out into, and it's got climbing poles and whatever.
Right.
Yeah,
I would love to have a catio. That would be nice.
the catio.
Yeah, catio.
That's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, of course. Well, I want to. I think the thing that I have a couple of people that I know that do this. I want to have chickens. I want to have chickens. Get some fresh eggs,
Yeah. Do you?
and they're crazy. Those chickens.
I don't know if you would have known Kathy. Garrigan
No.
from Robinson.
Oh, it sounds familiar.
Yeah, she wasn't in
Actually,
band,
yeah.
but yeah, so she's down. She used to be way out in Linden, but she's now Prince William County, whatever. But she's got some chickens in her yard. Really kind of cool.
Yeah. It
She
is
lets them
cool.
out, and they take care of the ants. There's no ants, no bugs crawling around in her yard.
Nice. She
They
lets
take
them.
care of it.
They're not let loose all the time.
No. They have
They
definitely
get
their
eaten.
own pen and a chicken coop, the house. But every once in a while, you can let them out, and they don't go far.
Right.
They
No, no,
just
no, 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 no. They know where their protection is,
right.
and yeah, if you left them out, they get eaten, no doubt.
Right. The fox. There's
Too
fox
many
in the neighborhood.
coyotes,
There's fox here.
foxes, raccoons eat chickens. Believe it or
Really?
not. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Raccoons are omnivores. They'll eat chicken. They'll eat other stuff, bugs, and what's really funny. Have you ever seen the video? I saw a wonderful video one time, and somebody had, I don't know, this block of stuff that like immediately dissolves in water. And I don't know what it is. Science teachers use it and show the kids and that kind of crap. Well, they left this block, they put some kind of scent on it so that it would attract the raccoon. The raccoon picks it up, walks over to the creek, puts it in the water, and it disappears. And they go, "What happened? It's gone." You see the raccoon going.
Where'd it go?
It's the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. I thought that was so great because
They
they
love
wash everything they eat. They don't just eat
yeah.
stuff; they go wash it.
Oh yeah. They
Yeah,
love cat food, and so the bowl of dry food and the bowl of water for a while. Every morning I'd get the bowl would be empty and the water is all murky because they've taken the cat food, washed it in the bowl of water, and then
Yep,
eaten.
yep. Actually, what would be really cool is get something that when you put it in water, it goes blows up. Not it's just really big, and make something out of that, and have to watch the raccoon put it in and freak them out. That would be cool. I'd love to
That's
see
funny.
that. Yeah,
That
and
would be
then
funny. I'm trying to find a picture of the visitors in our.
is it just raccoons, or you have possum and you
I
have
have possums. I have raccoons. We
skunks?
have fox. We have all the
You ever
wildlife.
had the skunks come up and get something to eat?
That's what I have. As I have an albino skunk in the neighborhood.
Really? Oh, that's
Yeah,
cool.
it's really kind of funky looking, but it's been spotted around the neighborhood, and then Chuck took a picture of it one night. He was coming to bed, and he's like, "What's out there?" And he showed me this picture. I'm like, "Oh, it's the albino skunk in the neighborhood."
That's
Yeah, here
cool.
he goes. He's got a little bit of black on him, but let's see.
Oh yeah, wow.
There.
Yeah,
He's
looks
mostly
like a
white.
cat. Oh no, he
Yeah.
doesn't. Never mind. He got a black
So,
face,
yeah.
but he's mostly otherwise white. That's wild.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
he's our albino neighborhood skunk.
My cousin lives in Chicago, well, outside of Chicago. They have a little farm, and her husband has a work shop in the back, and he's got two little buddies that come visit him. That come visit him all the time. Two little skunks come in, climb up on his lap. He feeds them.
Oh.
Yeah, they started coming when they were like pups, and then as they got older, and I think one of them came several times, and then brought a friend because apparently they mate for life too. I think so. I think
Oh.
he brought his girlfriend, and they just come and show up because they know where food is. They don't always
Yep.
come because if they've been hunting and got something and they're not hungry, they don't go. But if they're hungry, they know where to get food, and then
They
they
know
go
where
to.
the backup is.
Yeah, that's right. So
Yeah,
they go
for
hang out with Larry.
the
Hey,
whole
what's up,
summer,
dude?
I had a whole bunch of animals showing up because I was feeding that cat
Right.
for the longest time. But once he became an inside cat, I kind of took the food off the deck at night,
Yeah.
and but I still hear something scratching around out there looking, for stuff.
Yeah. Like what the hell?
Yeah.
I'm glad you don't hear those foxes though.
when we
That
hear
is
the
the most
fox,
hideous sound in the world.
we do a quick count, make sure everybody's inside.
Uh-huh.
If we hear the fox, we run outside with jingle bells
Uh-huh.
and jingling them until we get our cats in.
I tell you what, man, those foxes when they scream, that god awful scream,
Oh
it
yeah.
sounds like a devil. I mean, it sounds like an evil something going on. It's like, oh, gives you the chills, gives you the heebie-jeebies. My daughter had friends out one time, and they were spending the night in a tent out in the backyard, and they're out there doing like a TikTok or something, right? And all of a sudden you hear this, whatever, this freaking, oh, it sounds like a kid crying a little bit, plus a little devil thrown in there
Right.
too. And they're like, what the hell? You can see them because it caught them off guard.
Oh
And they thought
yeah.
it was a little girl crying at first. And then it
Oh.
got closer and started screeching big time. Then it came around our fence and went down beside our house, right near where their tent was, and let loose again. Yeah, horrible. Yep.
There.
And if they've got pups with them, he's a big boy.
Yep.
If they've got pups with them, they'll really scream. I mean, they'll
Yeah.
really, if they feel like their pups are threatened, because they used to do that. There was a fox underneath the garage of our neighbor. There's like a hole there, and they burrowed down underneath the garage, and the fox had a litter of,
Kits. Yep.
yeah, like 6 kits. And when she at night she would walk them, my mom dad would see her taking them out and walking them around the yard or back. We have a fence too, so they have a fence. My parents have a fence. So down behind between the two houses, my parents have a pipe stem that's right next to their house. So there's a house behind their house. And so the fox would come over and take her little pups or kits or whatever over and bring them back. But if my sister's dog was in the backyard, Lord have mercy. The dog would just be, doing his thing, and then it would hear the foxes, and he'd go running down there, and he'd start barking. And that fox, man,
Yeah.
wow! That's when the first time I ever said, "That's the devil." That's the devil, because that thing was screaming at Finnegan.
Yeah.
Just, oh my God.
We hear the
And I
fox.
swear I saw like some evil apparition when I heard that screaming. My
we
imagination, of
we
course.
hear it, and then he goes and poops in the driveway because he's telling the cats that this is his hunting ground,
Oh.
and they hunt in the neighborhood too.
So
And
he gets their scent and starts screaming.
yeah.
Gotcha.
So yeah,
Yeah, no, I don't like the sound fox makes.
yeah, in the wintertime he comes right up on the deck and he gets bird food or whatever I put out for the birds. He's up there.
Is that daytime or dusk or what is that?
That's daytime. This is in the winter. He's just trotting around.
I don't think foxes they're nocturnal. If they're
See,
out in the daytime, that's a little
generally,
worrisome.
yeah, and I'm nervous about this one, but in the winter when it's snow, my cats don't go out, with the snow, but he's
Right.
out there hunting, and he's well fed, but we have had some scrawny
He
ones.
looks well fed.
Yeah.
He looks healthy and happy.
Yeah.
But I will tell you that maybe, and I don't know this, I'm not any kind of an animal expert, but I think what it is I think in the wintertime they have to work harder at finding food. And
Yep.
so they have to work during some daylight hours too.
Yeah.
But again, I thought don't foxes hibernate?
Oh,
I thought they
definitely.
like
I
hibernated.
have proof that they do not hibernate.
No,
They
no,
are,
no, I know, I see that. But a lot of times it depends on if they're sick or something, then they don't hibernate, they don't sleep, they get up and do stuff. What was it we saw? What did we see? Oh, a raccoon. One time we saw a raccoon we pulled in, we were going to Texas, and we pulled in, and it was either Arkansas or Texas, pulled into a rest area and information center. And there was this little scrawny raccoon that was out, growling at things. And it was like, this is in the middle of the day. Why is this scrawny little, I said, these kids were looking at it And I said, you guys need to get back in your cars because he's probably rabid and he's not healthy. So, and they were all, because they were looking at him and, oh, can we feed him, mommy? You know, I'm like, you guys need to, the mommies don't know either. They're an idiot.
Right.
And I was like going, dude, you need to get your kids back in the car because that's probably a rabid raccoon. And if he runs up and bites one of them, you never know what he's going to do. He's not scared of anything. He's just going to go nutso. And I know this because, well, I mean, obviously that's just something that's kind of common knowledge.
You kind of, yeah.
Yeah. But I remember
not acting right.
You know when Who's Road used to have this big long dip and then you drove back up the other side?
Yeah.
Remember that back when we were in high school?
Yeah.
Had that dip? Well, down at the bottom of that dip on the right was a house. And I worked with a girl who rented a room in that house. And she said one night she's there just hanging out in the living room watching TV or something like that. And her roommate, the guy, or not a roommate, but the guy who owned the house, is in the kitchen doing something. And he heard, and the outside their house, right up next to the back door, the kitchen door, they had a rabbit hutch. They had 2 rabbits in it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, cute. Anyway.
Yeah,
I used to have a rabbit too. We called him Hassenpfeffer. My dad said that's what it should be his name, so that way we don't have to change it when he dies. Anyway, we'll make soup. Yeah, I didn't understand that, but anyway, so we called him Hassenpfeffer. But anyway, that's another story. I digress, as I always do. And I don't think we're going to be able to do. I don't think we're going to do trivia tonight, unless you just want to.
So.
No, but so he went over to the back door, and he has a screen door on it. So he opens the door, and he looks out, and there's a raccoon on the side of the hutch, going trying to get at this at the bunnies. And the guy goes, "Hey!" just really loud at him. And the raccoon turned, looked at him, and jumped from there to the screen door. And he's like, "Whoa!" Close the door. And then she's like going, "What happened?" He goes, "Oh, there's a rabid raccoon out here." He could tell when it hit the screen door that it was
not right.
Crazy. Yeah. And then she heard him get on the phone. And he said, "Yeah, this is not an emergency. I just wanted you to know this is my address." And they write it down. And he said, and there's going to be a gunshot in a second because I have a rabid raccoon in my back area. And I wanted, in case I have any neighbors or anybody around, I just wanted you to know I'm going to be discharging my shotgun and killing this rabid raccoon. Could you please dispatch the animal people? And they said, "Sir, you might want to wait for the animal." I said, he goes, "I'm not waiting for anybody. Just letting you know. Thank you. Bye." Yeah. And he went and got his shotgun, opened the door. The thing did it again. Now he's back on the rabbit, right? And he jumped back to the screen door, and the dude just from his kitchen just boom and just shot it. And the police showed up because of his call, not necessarily anybody else's.
Right.
They showed up to just kind of witness, see, they were cool, with him. He's like,
right.
You're not supposed to discharge your weapon in a residential area, but we understand and we know that you did it safely and whatever.
Yeah.
There he is, fat little,
yeah. He's eating the cat. Yeah, eating the cat food. Then he took the bagel and ran for it.
Well, anyway, so animal control came and scooped up the raccoon, and they took it and tested it, and apparently, a couple of days later, they said, "Oh yeah, he had rabies."
Oh, definitely.
And
if he wasn't afraid of people and he jumped on the screen like that,
yeah. So, and then what else was I going to tell you? Another little quick story, because I have a million of them. I think I'm going to have to get with Bill and learn how to write a book. So,
to hear your stories and see them in print.
It might be. Who knows? Let me see here. What? I was going to tell you something else, Pauline. I can't remember what it was.
Let's see. We were talking about before rabid raccoons and animals.
Oh, I know what it was. Tell you.
Okay.
About raccoons. So my mom used to work at the Virginia Theological Seminary over off of Seminary Road in Alexandria.
Yay. Gee, imagine that.
Imagine that. But that's the oldest seminary, Harvard is the oldest seminary. But one of the oldest seminaries. You know, that's what Harvard first was a
Did not know
seminary.
that.
Well, back in the back days, universities were to teach about the Bible.
Right.
That's what they were for. And they weren't for all the other stuff. They were for teaching you about the Bible.
The only books people read were the Bible. That was
That was pretty much one of the only. Yeah, that's true. That's
books
correct.
available. Right.
Right. But anyway, so the seminary is just the seminary, and it's the Virginia Theological Seminary of the Episcopal Church in Northern Virginia. I mean, in the national world, whatever. So my mom got me a job one summer after my day job to work at the seminaries. It was the summertime, so there was no classes going on, but they had, of course, seminars and different things like that. We were week long and things like that. And they had this one guy who was doing a 3-week session, 2-week session, I guess. That's right. I was working for the school, so I was off in the summertime. And so they wanted to make the gym available to any of the students who had come for this seminar or other priests or whoever. And so they needed someone to be the attendant of the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah. No one came to the gym. Like 2 people came and went upstairs and rode on the bicycles,
Right.
For their little workouts.
Right.
Yeah, it was like no one came. So I played pool and went into the gym and shot basketball hoops. I watched Oprah every day. Became a big Oprah fan. I liked Oprah. It was fun to watch, and played pool. I even got a video of Willie Moscone and whatever his name is to learn some tricks, how to shoot pool.
Oh.
I know a few little things that I learned from that video. But I'm in there one day. I think I was playing pool. And I look over and I see a raccoon crossing the street with, I kid you not, 8 babies following it. And I went out on the front porch of the gym, and I looked over, and I would say they were about 40 yards away. And they're going across, and I just, for whatever, just see what the reaction would be, went, "Hey," like that. And the mama raccoon turned around and stood up on her hind legs and looked at me. And I went, "Hey, mama, what are you doing? There's a lot of babies," or something like that. And she went, "Rah," something at me. I don't know what it was, but then she started like running towards the door. And I'm like, okay, went back inside real quick, closed the door. That thing was 30 yards away, but it was charging. And I'm like, no, not playing with her. As soon as I went inside, she stopped and went back to her babies. But I'm like, 7. And they were coming out of behind this bush. It was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, maybe it was more than 7, to tell you the truth. I remember I was counting them going, what the hell?
They just kept coming like a clown
I'm
car.
saying. And I was thinking to myself, I went and told I told my mom, I said, make sure you tell the grounds people they're going to have like a massive amount of raccoons in the trees and around the property come the August or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's a ton of them. I was like, whoa, God, that's a lot of raccoons. They need to bring somebody over here and trap some of them and put them in different woods somewhere else.
Right.
But
anyway. Couldn't find the picture, but I have a baby raccoon that is up on his haunches looking at me with its paws up like, pick me up, Mom. It's the cutest picture of this baby.
Where was Mama?
We haven't seen the mama, but there were 2 babies. One was very sickly, had almost no fur on his tail, really like kind of limping. But then this other chubbier one was there, and then we didn't see the sick one for a while, and just this one.
Fox got him, maybe.
Yeah.
You never know. I know that my cousin came to visit from, where did Carol? Carol lives in the Outer Banks, and she's works for the inland fisheries of North Carolina, and they count fish. Anyway, but she found on her property, she saw a raccoon had been run over, and she saw these two little babies. So she went and
Oh,
rescued them, took them to the local uh, whatever it was, and they said, well, there's a vet that'll help you if you want to raise them to then let them go,
oh,
and
foster them.
let you know, yeah, foster them a little bit. And so she had them. She brought this little baby to our house when she came to visit us, and it was so little. I mean, she found them literally like in a nest or something like that, and the mama was gone. And they were like,
Oh,
because they get born little pink things
right,
this big. Um, but she had this little cute raccoon, and he was old enough that he had his tail already, and but he was like in your handful. And
Oh,
I said, "Here, I'll hold him." And she said, "Oh, here you go." And she put him in my hand, and he pooped right in my hand. And I said, "Okay, you can take him back." And then I walked in the bathroom, but I didn't. I said, "You're lucky, because you know what? I know people that when that thing did that, they would go yo, and they'd throw it. So it's a good thing I have an even level head. Because when he started pooping, I
right.
was like, "Oh, this take him. He's pooping in my hand. He pooped in my hand."
I'm
And
trying to
everyone's
remember.
laughing. I'm just sitting there with a handful of raccoon poop. Yeah, but
Adrian, and I'm trying to think of uh, Adrian oh, she was a clarinet player, blonde hair.
uh-huh.
My year, Adrian Dunning. She had a pet squirrel. She raised a baby squirrel, and it was always with her. And the funniest story I remember is her talking about a house caught on fire, or smoke alarms went off, and
Hmm.
she was running around the house trying to get everybody out, and the baby squirrel was hanging onto the front of her nice nightgown, scared to death, and peed all down the front of her. But she was running around getting her, and she had other things. She had a pet skunk that was descented. She had a couple of other
Oh,
things. But I was remember her getting her whole, menagerie out of the house, when the fire department. But hearing the story of the baby squirrel just hanging on for dear life and peeing down the
of
front
course
of
he
her.
was peeing. He was like, I'm scared.
Yeah.
I'm peeing. Yeah. Yeah. No, I remember Nick Ziegler.
Yeah.
Okay. You know Nick. I remember when he was in biology class and we were doing crawfish, and he was playing with it and it bit his finger. His crawfish, everybody had their own crawfish, and his crawfish bit his finger, and he went, ow, and he slung it across. Remember this story? You don't remember this? He
No.
slung it across the room, and it went crunch against the wall and came down. And it was dead, and he got a 0 for the project because he killed his crayfish. I
Oh
remember this.
dear.
I can't wait to. I'm Facebook friends with him. I'm gonna have to ask him about that sometime.
That'll be funny.
Crawfish. He just slung that sucker.
I
And this
thought,
is all I did. Wasn't in the class. I just heard the story, and
yeah,
everybody's
I remember frogs and fetal pigs, and I didn't want to even
right.
get to.
I never did the crayfish. I did both frogs and fetal pigs because I failed biology and had to do summer school because I never did homework. So in high school,
Oh,
I kept having to go to summer school every year, and I always got A's in summer school. Why? Because I knew the content, and it was all done in class, and I'm great doing stuff in class. Don't send
right,
me home with homework. Don't send me home with copy busy ass work. That's all
right.
it was. And I had a motor skills thing. You know what I mean? So my
If you
brain
did
works
it,
10
you
times
remembered it.
faster. Right. My brain works 10 times faster than I can write. So I'll read and I get all confused trying to read. And I mean, it's a form of dyslexia. Um, Even though it didn't, I mean, I can read fine, especially if I'm enthralled and I'm in it.
Right.
But if I have to read it just for knowledge or whatever, it's like just I'd rather you read it to me. I could now this was before audiobooks and stuff. I mean, I know they had
Right.
them, but
But you
it
are
was
definitely you're an auditory learner. I'm a
and
visual
visual.
learner. I
Well, I'm
have
a
to
visual
see things.
learner too, but it's
But
more mechanics than it is academic visual stuff. Like
mhm,
in other words, reading
right.
My brain works too fast. I mean, and it's the thing is, because I remember Mrs. Maxwell, okay, Pauline used to always say to me, Lee, you know what it is? You're just lazy because your IQ is off the chart, and why you can't get better grades than you're getting means you're just lazy. And I'm like, that was a beautiful thing to say to a kid. You know what I mean? I'm like, dude. So I just was like, okay, thanks for letting me know. Now I know.
Now I know.
Now I know, and I can just be what I am. I'll just be me. That's a swear to God thing. That's probably exactly what happened. Except for I wasn't lazy working like at at Mr. Gaddy's and all that kind of stuff, and my boss
Right.
loved me. But when it came to schoolwork, good. I have an excuse for why I can't freaking do some of the things that are required for me to do in class. I'm lazy. Words are powerful, man. Words are very powerful.
Right. Exactly. I
And
mean, my sons are like that. My older son, especially, Kyle. If you taught anything in class and discussed it and whatever, he got that, no problem.
yeah,
He also never did homework. And at the time, now Loudoun County says, "Oh, you can't have so much of your grade count on homework. It doesn't count anymore."
we used to have 70%.
Oh my God! If he
Did you know
had,
that?
if he had today's grades, he would have been like valedictorian. I swear.
Yeah, but he had his grades, which means he was a C average student, right?
Exactly,
See,
because
you and I were in high school, I was an F student because I didn't. If it was homework, I didn't do it. Now, if I had classes because that's the thing we talk about, and I hope people hear this and see this, because one of the things. Hold on a second here. What's going on?
yeah, Kyle would ace the test. His
Yeah.
SOL.
Oh yeah.
Perfect.
I didn't take SOLs, but
yeah, if you
I didn't have to
took it in class, he got that. He got an A on the test.
Yeah.
And I turned to the teacher and said, "So why are you making him do homework? Because he learned the content. So what is this homework for?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And that's and in those days I didn't ask those questions, and my parents didn't ask those questions. They just went with what Miss Maxwell said. Lee's being lazy.
Right.
And then when I was taking in college, I took the education class. Thought I wanted to be a teacher. My wife's like, no, you don't. And I didn't. And I loved working security and because I got to work with all the kids in the school instead of just my kids or whatever it was. But this is how my brain's already gone way past where I'm at, and I can't bring it back to where I was talking about. Yeah, education class. Yeah. So I'm taking my education class at Valley Forge University College classes, whatever. It was a subsidiary college down in Woodbridge, whatever, right off of whatever road it is.
Down there.
Yeah, down there somewhere. And so we're doing a reading in class, and it says, when did the Federal Board of Education mandate special education for people without physical disability? The first year, 1984. And it's true because I remember in 1984, my senior year, I had to go and test with Mrs. Iannacone, what's the name's mom, the two, right, Bobby and Terry. And I had to go in her class and do some testing stuff. Well, there's Fred. I didn't know Fred was even going to be joining us tonight.
Oh, maybe.
Hi, Fred.
Hello there.
I thought you were going to be busy, boy.
I like your name. I think that's my favorite baseball player today.
Did you get him from the airport?
I didn't go yet. A couple minutes, I think.
Okay.
Did you buy a new car?
No.
Did he buy a new car?
No, nothing. There ain't nothing new.
Nothing new.
No,
Too
next time I'm gonna get a
bad.
little more volume so I can hear you.
Too bad. You can't hear me?
It's on my end. I have my volume
Oh,
very low.
yeah, Freddie. Fred.
So, Pauline, you were in a different room today.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's in our boys' bedroom.
I'm having my library built, so my dining room is full of everything from the library, and the kitchen table's full because I'm cleaning off and organizing my kitchen, rearranging my kitchen. So I went up to Kyle's room and said, "Oh, look, there's a desk there." I slapped my computer, so I'm in Kyle's old room. The brush posters and yeah.
There you go.
Brush, yep. I got it. Yep. So we were just talking about education. So that's what happened, Pauline, is they started testing people for special education or for learning disabilities in 1984 that were not physically disabled. And so that was the year I graduated. So woohoo! Nice. I got tested in 84. So all those years of high school where I was doing crap, ended up, they said, yeah, it's funny. Maybe your grades were because of this. Yeah. So
there's my
nice.
Oh,
library in the process.
Very nice. Who's building that?
My mom and dad's handyman, Steve.
Oh, cool.
Steve, he actually lives in Fairfax, and he has to drive all the way out to Ashford, which he hates, but he's amazing and just half the price of anybody else.
Well, we don't need anything now since our house is new, but there's always a shelf you want put somewhere or something or built in.
Right. Yeah, so this is floor to ceiling, wall to wall. He said this sucker's not going to come down and to take that out, they're going to have to take a sledgehammer and take that whole wall out.
Wow.
When he's finished with it. And then I just ordered the little library ladder on the rail so I can slide.
Nice.
That's all you want to do is you just want to get on there and push off and go sliding down the other side.
There you go.
It's 9 feet tall ceilings, and I had.
You need to put your favorite books on the top shelf so that you can use that ladder a lot.
That's right. And if you
want to all the books you haven't read yet up at top.
If you want to hide something from the kids, you put it on. No, they'll find it because they'll go.
Hey. Fred knows they'll find it because he used to have those books too.
I put it on the bottom shelf. They'll never bend over that low.
Yeah, that's right.
My mom and dad, if they knew I was telling this story, would be mortified. But my dad had a book, or somebody had a book, in their bookshelf called The Happy Hooker.
Right. That was popular when I was young.
I know. It was popular when my parents were, when we lived in Germany and they had it on the bookshelf. Sure, Fred. Yeah, Tor, of course. I sent you the damn link, boy. Didn't I? Anyway, so yeah, man, and I read that book when I was 11.
Nice.
11. Well, so needless to say, it embarked me on a lifetime of loving women and knowing what women want. So there you go.
So we're about 8 hours from going to work, me and Tora, tomorrow.
Yeah, I know. Tora's telling me.
Anybody want to make a prediction? Not who you want, but just a prediction. It's so damn close.
It's so close. It's so close. I just Brett Baer was right here in Leesburg.
He does
tonight, and Laura.
He was here. Okay.
Yeah, he was here at 6:00 live in Leesburg, and is it Ingeville? No, that's
Fred. I wish you had come to Tora's house on Saturday because when I got there was, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 people there, right? Well, guess who one of them was?
Terry McAuliffe.
No, Chap Peterson.
Oh,
he was there. He came to Tora's party.
Oh,
and I walked in, sat down, and he and I have already acquainted ourselves. So I already knew who he was. I had to remind him a little bit. Then he's like, "Oh yeah," because Billy Riley brought him onto our business show it was all during the pandemic stuff, and we're quizzing him on what's Richmond doing about it and that kind of stuff. And anyway, we had a grand time. And so he's like, he gave me his card. I have his card. Do you have Chet Peterson's card, Fred?
I have his partner's card in my
Now,
wallet.
oh, he said that's his business anyway. Hold on, let me bring in the star.
Toralicious.
What's up, everyone? Fred, I just came back from a rally. I'm ready to go for tomorrow. I don't think I'm going to sleep tonight. I'm ready.
Take
I'm
those stickers off.
I'm going to be up at like 4 in the morning to
He's
go.
Ignoring me, Fred.
What's up?
To take those stickers off.
Oh, right.
Well, tomorrow night too, Tor, right? You going tomorrow night?
Yeah, I'll be up at 4 in the morning because I'm opening at 5 in the morning.
Tomorrow night's the victory party, same place.
Yeah. Also, Lee, I just want to thank you for actually coming to my party the other night.
He's the best.
Who is the guy, the Marcus guy who's running for delegate?
Marcus Simon.
He's a delegate. He was also at the party, Fred.
Yeah, he's also a delegate. I mean, he is an incumbent.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, he was at the party. He can. I'm telling you, Tor knows everybody.
Now this is like a kebab German place. What kind of what is this restaurant?
What are you talking about?
What restaurant?
Where you were tonight?
Oh, tonight. Oh, I don't know.
I'm at my house.
No, not now, numbnuts. Jeez.
Where were you, Fred?
Oh, I was at the Terry McAuliffe rally.
And where was it?
It was at Caboose Commons in Fairfax.
Caboose Commons in Fairfax, Fred, so not Kebab Commons.
No, I saw the menu. It looks like it's got kebabs and German food.
What kind of food do they have?
No, it's an American bar. It's a bar in Merrifield.
Or if I go there tomorrow and they have German kebabs, which don't exist.
I've never heard of a German kebab.
That could be Lee. That could be your new name for your show.
Hey, German kebab.
You can put your German accent on.
Hello, everyone. I'm German kebab. Welcome to our show.
Fred, Lee loved my new place.
Oh, I'll bet it's sweet.
I like this place.
Oh, by the way, Lee, I'm buying you a pack of orange Zevia because I know you loved it.
I did have a good time with that orange Zevia. I liked it a lot. By the way, his bathroom is like elegant. I mean, huge.
He's a classy guy. He's a classy guy.
He's a classy guy.
Most guys are
one of these days he'll spend the night in his apartment.
Yeah, you're always traveling, buddy. I wish I had half the.
Are you at home right now, Tora?
My parents' house.
Okay, all right.
Because the precinct is by my parents' house, so I have to be here tonight.
No, right. No. You don't have to give me an excuse, Tora, for why.
Why is your name Jose Altuve?
Because I love that.
Whatever.
He's the best.
I figure you guys do that crap all the time. I figure I'll do it. I'll just grab somebody who's in the news right now, and I'll put my name in it.
The game isn't the game on tonight?
No, you're going to Richmond. So there's Richmond.
I thought the Braves were going to win it last night.
Oh, did you? I told you it's going 7 games, Tora. It's the way things work in sports now. Mm-hmm. Every game, every series goes 7 games. I knew from the beginning it was going to go 7 games.
Well, I was rooting for the Braves.
My family lives in Houston, so
I'm going with Houston.
Houston.
Braves.
And Tora says
Braves. Yeah.
So the Braves.
I'm going to do Braves just because it's been so long for them.
Yeah.
Oh. No, Braves are a bunch of punks.
Well, to be fair, the Astros have the former Nationals manager, so.
That's right, Dusty Baker. Gotta love Dusty Baker. No, I've heard there's been lots of people actually who've said Houston in 7. So.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, I mean some of the bigger name guys. One guy last
night. What about that one guy who said something in 6 or the?
Braves in 6.
I think it was one of those NBA guys that said something in 6, and he's like a figure now.
Oh, NBA! Hey, they know a lot about baseball, don't they? Now, there's a lot of baseball players that are football players, and baseball players. But I've never ever seen a crossover basketball player.
Michael Jordan sort of did it with the.
That's true. You know what? You're right. You are correct, Fred. I'm sorry. I just got shut down on my own.
But I'll bet you he wouldn't if it was even with his stats, but he wasn't Michael Jordan. I don't know if anybody would give him the right time of day. I don't know.
Right.
I think he did pretty good at baseball. And the cool thing was
didn't he play baseball?
When they went to different places, he flew everybody.
Oh, did he really?
Because he didn't want to ride the bus.
Nice.
So he used to fly him.
The start of Monster Jam. Space Jam.
Space Jam, yeah.
Space Jam. That was, he was playing baseball and then he announced his comeback.
Right. That's exactly right. Hey, you guys want to do some questions just for the heck of it?
Go for it.
I prepared anyway.
Sure.
All right, let's do this. All right, you guys want to do an actual sheet or no?
Whatever you like.
We can just do random.
All right. I'll give it to you just the way I have it set up. So for 100 under animal attraction, these are all about animals, these questions.
Oh, nice.
Is the Tasmanian devil a marsupial or rodent? Raise your hand.
Marsupial.
Raise your hand. Go ahead, crazy cat lady.
Marsupial. He's from Tasmania.
Correct. Now this one, this one's should be the number 5 one, but it's not because whatever. Why are cats that purr unable to roar?
Oh.
Paul, you should know that.
I know that if they roar, they can't purr. If they purr, they can't roar. But
no, not true. Not true. A purring cat can growl.
Right.
But they can't roar. Roar! And there's a reason they can't roar.
So, Lee, how do you like
regular cats that can roar can also purr because I've actually seen a lion purring.
So, Lee,
what?
How do you like your cats to handle things? Do you like them when they roar, or do you like them when they purr for you?
That's a good
cats
question.
only purr.
Oh, okay. Just wondering.
Now,
I'm thinking of
like that.
Speaking of the book earlier, I was telling you I've made a lot of.
I'm thinking of getting a cat because my puppy is so annoying.
Oh, well, get a cat. Yeah, they will kill you.
But no, Tor, even better. Get a girlfriend and make her purr.
Get a what?
Get a girlfriend and make her purr.
Hey, Fred.
You know what I'm saying?
Fred and ladies, man.
What's the other name for cats? Never mind. Okay,
so why can't cats roar?
Their hyoid bone has hardened. The ones that purr, or the ones that only purr. So I guess the ones that can roar can. I don't know. I don't know. That's what they. That's what the question was. Why are cats that purr unable to roar? It's because their hyoid bone has hardened. So, all right. Does a wolf have more teeth on its upper jaw or lower jaw?
Does a what? What was it?
A wolf. Does a wolf have more teeth on its upper jaw or its lower jaw? Go ahead, Tura.
Lower jaw.
Yep.
Fred, that's what you say too? That's correct. The lower jaw. All right. This is a cool one. The U.S. has the highest population of dogs. Which country has the next highest population of dogs?
Fred should know that.
Go ahead, Fred.
Russia.
No.
Hey. Afghanistan, right, Tora?
No.
No. What do you call an Afghan walking a dog? A caterer.
Oh, I got it. I got it.
Go ahead.
Really?
It's England.
Not England, no.
Oh, by the way, Tora.
Crazy cat lady, you just look it up on your phone?
What is no. I'm looking about lions purring. What is Mexico?
No, Mexico, kind of like I said about Afghanistan, and China also. So no, France.
Tora,
isn't that cool? I didn't know that. I was like, wow.
The one and only time I went to an Afghan restaurant. Now I've had Afghan food, but I went to an Afghan restaurant where.
Oh, I'm treating you and Lee to Afghan food one day.
I ended up in the emergency room and spent the night in the hospital. A couple hours after that meal, I was done for.
Hold on a sec. What restaurant was it?
Huh?
What
Kebab Land.
It was over in Springfield off of Backlick Road. I don't remember the name. It was like that Afghan
Kebab Land.
Kebab.
Yeah.
It was tours all night, the kebab house.
All right, here we go.
Go for it.
What is a baby shark called?
Oh.
I can picture the shark's purse, the egg sac. Oh. What is a pup?
Yes, that's
wow. Correct. I didn't know that.
Very good. Very good. All right, this is one is vacation time. It's places throughout our nice little world that we live in. What is the name of Japan's main island?
Ooh, Fred should know that.
Japan's main island is called what?
I know cities. I don't know the name of the island.
Oh wait, I can take a guess on that.
Go ahead.
Nakasumi.
No.
I can think of cities.
If Walter was here, I know Walter would know it.
Yeah, where's Amy and Walter?
Amy's working because she was sick all weekend, so she's way behind.
And Walter sent an email that said he can't.
Oh, he did? Okay, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Honshu.
God bless you.
Honshu.
Oh.
Thank you. Which is the tallest mountain in the Alps?
Mont Blanc.
Very good, Fred. You need to raise
Fred.
your hand from now on.
Oops,
Fred.
Damn it.
All right. Where are the Atlas Mountains?
The what mountains?
The Atlas Mountains. Go ahead, Fred.
They're over there. Fuck, just keep going. You can't
You'll
miss
run
them.
into them, right?
Yeah, you'll run into them. You can't miss them. That's right.
The Atlas Mountains are where?
Go ahead, Fred.
Go ahead, Fred.
What is Greece?
No.
I was thinking Greece, but I think I'm going to go north. I'm going to say Russia.
No.
I'll take a guess.
Afghanistan. No.
Greenland.
No. They're in North Africa.
Oh.
Which is the world's longest river?
Oh.
You hand up there, crazy cat lady?
What is the Amazon?
No.
I thought that was
Oh.
Go ahead, Tora.
What is the Nile?
Very good, Tora. Very good.
Really?
Yep. Remember, Amazon's this way. It's the longest river that goes this way. Almost all other rivers go this way. North to south.
So what was the question?
East to west. What's the longest river? The longest river is the Nile.
Really?
It didn't say the longest river east to west, which is what the Amazon runs.
Oh, the widest, the biggest river.
Or maybe the widest, right? Maybe, I don't know. But the longest river is the Nile. It goes way down into Africa. Anyway, which mountain range is the longest in the world? Oh, Fred.
The what?
Sure. Go ahead, Fred.
Mountain
the
range.
Rockies?
The what?
Rockies?
No. Which mountain range is the longest in the world? Tor, quit looking at the TV. Yes.
What are the Alps?
No. Do you know any mountain ranges, Tora?
I know the Swiss Alps is the only one I know of.
That's the only one you know of. Well, the Alps are in more than just Switzerland. But anyway, that's another story.
Maybe Fred
Walter.
knows.
Walter. He already guessed. You want to guess again, Fred?
Is it the Ural? URAL?
No. It's the Andes.
Oh, really?
All down South America.
I never would have thought that. But okay.
Yep. All right. How do you think you guys would do with bands and singers?
Define bands. Are you talking about wristbands or actual musical bands?
Band as in musical bands. We're not going to do that. Here we go. Good. This is the board game, which is all about Monopoly.
The board game.
All right. So here we go. You ready for this, guys?
Yes.
What property completes the set if you own St. Charles Place and Virginia Avenue? And I'm you have to be specific. Okay?
Oh, wait.
Anyone? Go ahead, Tora.
What is Boardwalk?
No.
No. Well, St. Charles and what?
St. Charles and Virginia. St. Charles Place and Virginia Avenue. What piece is missing from that Monopoly? Go ahead, Fred.
Was it Ventnor?
No.
Ventnor, whatever.
No. Any guess, Pauline?
tell me. I'm trying to remember what color they are.
I think they're
And
purple.
I think Virginia is orange.
I think they're purple, aren't they?
Purple.
St. Charles and Virginia are purple.
Bottom left hand
the
corner.
other purple. No, it's the upper left hand corner.
Go
Upper street.
Boardwalk and Park Place. So you start and you go around.
Past
No, I can't think of it.
States Avenue.
There you go.
All right. What about if you have Marvin Gardens and Atlantic Avenue? What do you have? What do you need for a monopoly?
Indiana?
Nope.
Illinois?
No.
Oh wait,
Virginia.
Marvin Avenue?
No. I already said Marvin Gardens and Atlantic Avenue. What's the third one you have to have? Where's Chuck? You need to bring Chuck in to help you.
Kentucky Avenue?
Ventnor Avenue.
Oh, man, I was off.
I know you said Ventnor earlier. All right, ready? Oriental Avenue and Connecticut Avenue. What is the third one that you need to have? Go ahead, Fred.
Is it St. James?
No, Fred.
Well, I'm picturing all these, but I'm screwing them up.
I know.
What is Vermont?
Very good. Yes, that's correct.
Wow.
Those are the light blue ones. They're the second set of property.
Oriental Vermont. Yeah.
What if you have Pennsylvania Avenue and North Carolina Avenue? What is the third one you have to have? They're green.
Yep,
They're green.
They're green. They come around the corner.
Be specific.
Oh.
Oriental Avenue?
No.
No, that's light blue.
Yeah. I just gave you a hint. I said be specific.
Oh.
Pacific.
Pacific Avenue, yeah.
All right, if you have New York Avenue and Tennessee Avenue. Go ahead.
Is that Kentucky?
No. That's the orange, dark orange. This is the light orange. This is the one that's next to St. Charles property. It's on the other side of the board. I'll put up on the top. Go ahead, Fredo.
What is St. James?
That's correct.
There you go.
Yeah, somebody had already said St. James. So.
Oh.
All right, these are some fun ones. Best of the best. This is Olympics. The nation hosting that year is first in the opening ceremony. True or false? Crazy cat lady.
What is false? Are they the last one?
I never looked up who's first.
I think they're the last one.
Oh, who's first though? Is that who did it the year before? I don't know. I forgot. I forgot to ask. What happened in the 1900 Paris Olympics? I got 5 options for you. A, athletes wore no clothes. B, there was a chariot race. C, there were more athletes than spectators. D, there were no women athletes. Or E, Walter Thomas's great-great-grandfather won the long jump.
I think it has to be no women athletes.
That's your guess? Anybody else? That's not correct.
What was the...
I'm going to guess that there was a chariot race.
No.
Give me the answers again quickly, please.
C, A, athletes wore no clothes. B, there was a chariot race.
No.
C, there were more athletes than spectators.
That's the answer. More athletes than that.
That's correct. I don't know why. Didn't tell me why, but
it wasn't a big deal back then. It was a bunch of nerdy athletes who.
Yeah.
Like the old Boston Marathon, they wore like leather shoes with leather soles in the Boston Marathon. I mean, 100 years ago, they didn't know what to.
Yeah. How many hours was the longest wrestling match in Olympic history? A, 2 hours. B, 3 hours. C, 4 hours. D, 7 hours. Or E, 11 hours.
C.
4 hours?
Yes.
No.
D.
7 hours? No.
Keep going, Pauline.
All right,
2
Pauline.
hours.
No, 11 hours.
Wow.
Can you imagine that?
You're wrestling some guy for 11 hours? Ugh.
Maybe they were in love.
Yeah.
Okay. What was they had a crush on each other? Let's just keep wrestling. What was why did they talk like that? What was the first year in which all the participating countries sent female athletes? A, 1996, B, 1988, C, 2012, D, 2000, or E, 1964?
2000.
No.
1964.
No. I made
What
that
was
one.
the very first one?
1996,
Yeah,
1988.
I'll say 96.
No. 2012
Wow.
was the first year all participating countries sent women. That's amazing to me.
Yeah.
All right. So that's the end of Best of Best.
You guys are not helping me over here. You need to start talking more.
I'm gonna have to. I think I'm gonna have to call it a night soon.
Oh, never mind. There's one more here. Hold on, big boy. Hold on, big boy. This
Fred,
is the
come to
one
the
that I
party
was
tomorrow
shocked
at the
about.
Hilton.
And I'm going to be shocked if you guys know this because I did not know this. Tell the cats to put glasses on so they can read.
Right.
Top 8 athletes in each Olympic event receive what from the IOC? The top 8 athletes in each Olympic event receive what from the IOC?
Oh, I got a gold medal.
No, that's only one in each event person gets a gold medal.
A bronze medal?
Only one person gets a bronze medal.
Oh, a silver medal.
Only one person gets the
Okay.
silver medal. The person who comes in first gets the gold. The person who comes in second gets the silver. The third, bronze.
A letter of commendation?
Somewhat close there, but no.
Participation ribbon?
No.
Like
the top 8 athletes in each event receive a diploma.
Oh.
That's nice.
I did not know that. I was like,
so,
that's interesting.
So we went in 76 in Montreal.
Uh-huh.
And there was like no security. You go right up to a chain link fence, like about
76. Was that when is that when?
No, that was after. That was 72 was the shooting, and they kept saying, "Oh, security's got to be beefed up." What, Lee? You would love this. So they were trying to stop scalpers. So the police set up it was a subway station, but covered, I don't know, maybe 40 feet by 20 feet.
Yeah.
To wait for the buses. They turned that over to ticket resellers, I'll call them, not necessarily scalpers. And the police stood around, so there was no trouble. And they said, if you do it here, there's no trouble. If you step out here and start selling tickets, we're going to charge you. So everybody went in. I went in all the time. I'm looking for, boxing at 2:00. And it was so much fun because everybody spoke different languages. We had all different monies. I mean, keep in mind, Europe didn't have the euro. So an Italian guy would be talking to a Brazilian guy who, I'll trade you. If I get tickets at this price, will you buy them off me? Sell me what you've got there. And we made all kinds of deals. We just hustled. Everybody hustled everybody. And it was an absolute blast. One of my great memories.
Very cool.
That was a lot of fun.
I remember the only time I've ever gone without tickets to an event. But I've been to events with tickets and realized there's a ton of people giving away tickets. You know what I mean? I got 4 tickets I can't use. Who wants them? And the people, especially Christian concerts, where they just give them to you.
Did you go last night?
No. What was on? Who was there?
It was at George Mason. It was some big group that Nick knows, and he went to some contemporary Christian music.
Newsboys?
I wouldn't. Even if you told me, I don't know. Okay. He's out. No, but.
Well, that's cool that you went.
He said it was packed. The place was absolutely packed.
That's cool. That might have been the Newsboys. I don't know. I know that the guys from this area, Toby Mac, is not coming to this area this on his tour, which sucks because he usually does. All right, here we go. We got one more. It's called Cool Stuff.
Oh, that's Tor. That's Tor.
For round 2. Yeah.
That's your nickname. That's what we call you when we refer to you. We call you Cool Stuff.
Yeah, we do.
We'll say, hey, let's call Bill and Lee and Cool Stuff,
Cool
and
Stuff.
everybody knows that's you, buddy.
That's right.
That's what Amy calls you.
Why do you say that? You say that, and he believes you.
That's nothing wrong with that. I meant to say Pauline said that. I'm getting my joke all screwed up.
All right, so here we go. What did Alessandro Volta invent? A, the battery. B, a light bulb. C, a microwave. D, a toaster. Or E, a vibrator.
Oh.
Well, Crazy Cat Lady raised her hand right away.
What is a battery?
Yep.
That's correct. I threw in the vibrator. That wasn't one of the answers. I just thought Volta, vibrato, whatever.
Volt,
all right.
alternating current, volts.
I've done this one before. What woman is the only individual who was awarded a Nobel Prize in 2 scientific fields?
Ooh.
I've actually asked that question before in the past.
I can take a guess, I guess.
Go ahead.
Who is Condoleezza Rice?
No. Anyone? Some people called her Madam.
Madame Curie.
Yes, right. Maria Curie.
I didn't realize she got 2.
Yeah. Which discovery helped determine the age of the Earth? A, gravity. B, radioactivity. C, nuclear power. D, atomic power. Or E, Fred's homemade age predictor.
There you go.
Go ahead, Corey and Miss Cat Lady.
What is radioactivity?
Yep.
That is correct. Which islands did Darwin formulate his theory of evolution? Go ahead.
What are the Galapagos?
That's correct.
Wow.
You didn't know that, Fred?
Nope.
Oh, I did. This one you may get. I don't know. Let's see if you guys can get this. This is the hard one, right? It's supposed to be the 5th question. It's supposed to be the hard one.
Go for it.
Who invented the rubber tire?
Ooh.
Oh, there's.
Go ahead, Fred.
Harvey Firestone.
No.
Damn it.
Oh, I've heard this and it's just. Oh, Henry Ford.
Henry Ford's your answer?
No, Henry Ford worked with them to. I remember my son doing a report on Henry Ford, and like that name came up.
Michelin.
Keep going.
Joe Michelin.
No.
Oh.
So, Michelin, Firestone. I can picture the symbol, and I can't think of the.
Tor, what kind of tires do you have in your car?
I don't drive.
Oh, the family car, I mean.
We have Michelin.
Yokohama.
We have Michelin tires.
Very good.
Yokohamas are also very popular tires. Have you had Yokohamas before, Fred?
Probably years ago. Yeah, it's probably been a while.
By the way, Lee, you had a really cool shirt on Saturday. I want one of those.
Lee's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What's your shirt say?
Yes.
It was a tie-dye Morejoy shirt.
Nice.
It wasn't tie-dye. It was sublimated. It had all kinds of graffiti on it.
Nice.
Yeah, it was cool. What were you about to say, Cat Lady?
Now I had to look up the names that I was thinking of, but I can't even pick them out.
John Boyd Dunlop.
Oh.
Do you know why he invented the rubber tire?
Dunlop is down there. Yeah.
He invented the rubber tire for his son, who was told that he needed to bicycle to cure his cold. So Dunlop made rubber tires for his son's bicycle so that he could bicycle to cure his cold.
To be out in all kinds of weather.
I guess the doctor told him, if you want to cure your cold, you need to go bicycling.
Wow.
And so Dunlop made rubber tires.
So, right, and he was also the cure. He developed a cure for what they named it after him, Dunlop's disease. That's when your belly Dunlops over your belt.
I knew where you were going from.
Funny.
I was going to say, hey, what about the tennis ball? Who invented the tennis ball? And that would be Dunlop too, right? Or Wilson.
That's right. Very good.
Or Wilson. Wilson made.
He probably invented a lot of things.
Wilson did lots of things with balls.
Yeah, well, he's a tennis guy, probably.
Okay, you're so innocent, Tora.
You are. You're a sweetheart, Tora.
You are such a sweetheart.
You're Toralicious.
Yeah.
Well, tennis is one of my favorite sports, so.
Mine too.
Go.
Mine too.
You like sport. You can watch sports 7 days a week, couldn't you, buddy?
I would.
Hey, you know what I noticed yesterday? It was either
What's
yesterday or Saturday. I never thought I would see this, but you know when you open the Washington Post on page 2, they list the sports on TV that day?
Yeah.
They had more British soccer matches than they had American baseball, football, basketball, and hockey combined.
It's because NBC has a contract with the Premier League
and I'm
to
a Manchester United
soccer.
fan.
That's how they got the show. What's
All
his name?
Tora, Mr. Manchester United fan.
Mm-hmm.
Tottenham Hotspur and Manchester United played the other day. Who won?
I didn't watch that game.
You're not a fan. I watched that game. It was 2-0.
Okay.
And the one guy who's the guy
you have to watch Ted Lasso.
Who's on Manchester United? What player that's significant?
Cristiano Ronaldo. He's the best.
Thank you. Glad you know that. And you know who the other striker is?
No, I forgot his name already.
Mm-hmm. Cavalli. Anyway, but Cristiano scored the first goal, and then he assisted Cavalli to score the second goal. Cristiano Ronaldo is the GOAT as far as soccer is concerned. I'm sorry. I know everyone loves Pele, and I love Pele too.
But I've
Cristiano
noticed something, Lee.
Every day of the week.
European soccer is way better than professional MLS soccer.
You just noticed that? They've been doing that, Tora. They've been playing soccer in Europe for way longer than they played it here.
And MLS
the only Europeans that play here are the ones that are washed up in Europe.
Yeah, and
right,
MLS is not so competitive. So
it's pretty good now. It's coming up, getting better. It's getting better. Some MLS teams have beaten some European teams. So don't count them out, Bubba.
Who's your European team?
Bayern Munich. Bayern München or
what's that?
Bayern Munich.
Bayern
München. It's the best team in the world.
Bayern München, as we would say here.
Bayern München.
Bayern Munich.
But it's Bayern Munich in Germany. Bayern Munich.
Good team.
It is a very good team, as a matter of fact.
Remember the days when they had I forgot his name already. Oh,
Franz Beckenbauer? Who?
No, not Beckham.
You remember when he played here?
Who?
Yeah,
Beckham?
I remember. Yeah, he came here.
Yeah.
He played with Pele on the
Galaxy.
Cosmos.
That's right. Yep.
Which is right? Cosmos or LA Galaxy?
No, Cosmos. Well,
yeah.
both.
Did he play for the LA Galaxy?
I don't know. What's his name did? Bend it like Beckham there.
Yeah, David Beckham.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, there was no such thing as the LA Galaxy when Franz Beckenbauer was playing soccer.
That's right.
But Pele and Beckenbauer both played for the Cosmos.
I love how all these European players come to the MLS all of a sudden.
Yeah, when no one in Europe wants them anymore.
It's like basketball players
want to make some money. It's the other way around, right? When the basketball player can't make it in the NBA, they go to Europe and play.
That's true. And same thing for the NFL
same with baseball.
too. They go to the European league.
In baseball, if they can't play Baseball, the MLB, they go and play in South Korea, or
Japan.
a lot of teams are doing it now. A lot of places, since baseball made the Olympics, a lot of countries have baseball. So managers, coaches, they all get jobs in Europe. I mean, hell, I could probably get a baseball manager job in Europe.
Nice.
I'm just saying. I mean, I know enough about baseball that I could teach them
I'll be
how
your
to do
third
it.
base coach. I'll get my signals down.
Yeah, good. That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, I'll cheat. I'll have little headsets, and everybody has an earpiece.
Nice.
And we'll do it that way.
I did that when Nick was in Babe Ruth, and I was coaching first. Catchers were terrible at hiding signals, so I used to tell the guys, if it's a fastball, I'll call you by name. If it's some other junk pitch, I'll call you like a nickname. So I'd go, okay, Lee, come on, you can do it, Lee. Fastball's coming. If I go, okay, big guy, you're a swinger, you can hit the ball. And I didn't use your name. That was going to be some curveball or slider or something.
And you were a consultant to the Houston Astros, weren't you?
Yeah, I was.
That's you're an Astros fan in the World Series this year.
No, but that's part of the game. You show the signal. Now, they were awfully young, 13, 14. I shouldn't have done it then.
Right, and the signs were fastball.
Whatever else they had.
Fastball. Yeah. When you're playing at a certain level, it's only fastballs.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And then you get, I mean, at the pro level, that's all fair game. I mean, if somebody's going to steal a sign, that's your fault for showing it,
Yeah, well, and they have, they do this,
right.
and this, and
if there's a guy on second,
half the time, the pitcher gets the signals from the dugout. He looks over the dugout, and the dugout gives him his pitch.
And you don't know which guy is which guy. Could be the third guy from the left is giving him the signal.
Same with the quarterback getting the calls from the sideline in football nowadays. They got 3 guys holding up signs that mean different things. And you have no idea who's who and what's what and who's saying what and all that kind of stuff.
Pauline, how was your day today?
I had a very lovely, quiet day.
Yes. All right. No kids.
Yep. I worked from home. I didn't even have to go in. I got on one conference call, talked about testing, and I watched bookshelves being built.
It's the end of the quarter, Fred. Yeah. That's why.
Right. Yeah. But in Loudon, they're off all week, and they were off last Friday. Are you too?
Are they off tomorrow?
Well, yeah. So Friday was
everybody's off tomorrow, Tora.
Yeah, Friday was a staff development day. So I went and learned about Lego Spike Essentials, and I learned about the software and the new Lego kits we got. Today I had video conferences and helped teachers with report cards. Tomorrow is a holiday, no school at all.
Yeah.
For election day. First time we've ever actually had it off. It's always been a teacher work day, but we don't even go into the buildings.
So no kids are coming in at all?
Nope. It's strictly
not safe.
Thursday, and Thursday is also a holiday. It's Festival of Lights.
Diwali.
Thank you. That's also a day off. So
really?
Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Yeah, not in Fairfax.
Right. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, whereas at least teacher work days. But they took that out and took Wednesday and Friday, and they said, okay, Wednesday and Friday are going to be
2 Indian celebrations.
Okay. We couldn't get enough substitute teachers because so many teachers were taking it off.
Yeah.
So they said, okay, it's all synchronous. Teachers can work from home.
It's a huge Indian holiday.
Well, that's
or maybe it's Hindu. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a Hindu thing. I don't know. But my next door neighbor is going to be having like 50 people in her house on Friday.
Right. So I don't go in all week. I can work from home all week long.
So I got a burning question for you, Pauline.
Yes.
And then for
have you been able to educate kids on civic engagement?
I don't do that part. I'm a technology person, so
the government teacher does that.
Yeah, I teach.
Teachers do, Lee. That's not true.
I do. I teach.
Government teachers teach civic engagement or civics, or depends on how old you are, social studies or something like that. Not English teachers, high school. Not math teachers. Not what she does. She's not even a teacher.
I'm a instructional facilitator of technology. But I do teach digital citizenship. I teach lessons on that.
Don't be a bully.
Yeah, exactly. Watch your digital footprint. Don't give out, high security passwords, But my boys both did civics and engagement through Boy Scouts.
Of
That was
course.
one of the things you had to
You
do.
had to have a merit badge, your civics merit badge.
And
Absolutely.
you do local and
national.
And national. There was a third one in there too. Local wasn't
regional.
State.
Is it regional?
Maybe it was like, yeah, because we had the local Hornberger come in and talk to the kids for local, and then national. We actually had a former congressman that was a dad to one of the boys, and he did that merit badge with the boys as a former congressman from Arkansas. So it was kind of cool.
Now, Tora,
what's up, Fred?
You don't know what this is about, do you? Veterans Day, you wear a poppy.
Yes.
Nice.
That's because veterans used to get high.
No, that's very important.
I know.
England, Canada, Australia.
I'm kidding.
I have a cousin of mine who was a Royal Canadian Grenadier Guard, the guys with the big hat and the whole thing.
Yeah.
And he sends a sub to me every year because I can't find them. When I was a kid, they were everywhere. It's hard to find them, and I was mentioning it to him. So he must have sent that after last year. I'll lose half of those things because the pins are flimsy and they fall off.
Nice.
Regarding that, Fred, I was going to say something. Yeah?
Oh, well, I got something for you. You'd be surprised this would be me. 2 years ago, when it was the 100th anniversary of the end of World War I.
Yeah.
I was asked to. All 50 states brought a wreath. I was asked from the Rhode Island State Society to present the Rhode Island wreath. And the head guy for this whole thing, they've got some of these poppies made out of metal and a pin. So it was a lapel pin you would use for years. And I was Mr. Rhode Island for a day.
Nice.
Nice and patriotic. Cool. Nice and patriotic.
Yeah. Well, speaking of poppies.
Yes, sir.
My dad, when he was in Vietnam, stationed in Vietnam, and he said on the compound they were on, off the compound, they put to work, obviously, because they did a lot of, that's what they were doing in Vietnam. They're doing a lot of civil service stuff, making roads, and that's my dad was big on that part of it. They're building quarries. They built quarries to make aggregate for the roads and yada 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 yada.
Wow.
I mean, our army, that's what our army was doing in Vietnam mainly. I mean, there's a lot of guys fighting, but we were trying to help them, fix up their country basically, because the communists were treating them like dirt. And that's why we were trying to push the communists out so that the Vietnamese would have better lives and be capitalists. Just kidding. Anyway, but my dad said they employed obviously a lot of the South Vietnamese men, and he said they had these men were building these houses that were basically just these shacks, and they all had tin roofs. And he said the old men would be up on the tin roof, and they'd be going, hammering their little things into the pins. And then they would take their opium break.
Oh, nice.
A normal thing. And they would come back. Tick, 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 tick.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Oh, yeah, man.
That's a good one.
In the 70s.
By the time they started slowing down to the point where they weren't even hammering, they'd go take an opium break, come back.
In the 70s, I lived in Thailand, and my mom and dad said they'd go up to the northern Thailand area, and the poppies and the opium fields are up there, and they go to these little villages, and some of these people have never seen white people.
Sure.
My mom and dad being, very tall, with another couple. My mom is 5'10", 5'11", dad's 6'2". And then the couple that they were with, the Cunninghams, she's 6'2", 6'3", and he's 6'6".
Shit.
And my mom had in the 70s the blonde, yellow beehive hairdo, and Mrs. Cunningham had a red hair. They walked into the villages and
It's
see
Wilma and Betty.
Oh my God, scared the villagers to death because they'd never seen people that tall, that white, and then this bright yellow and bright red hair. They thought they were the devils.
Oh my!
It wasn't blue like Marge, huh?
No, but it's like in that field. It would have been yeah. But my mom said that, after a while, some of the village, they would go in there, and the people that did run away, they would go up and try to talk. They had an interpreter with them, but they spoke such a mountain dialect. They were so stoned. There was a grandfather sitting with the baby on his lap, and they were both sharing the opium pipe. Just sitting there stoned.
You know what your mom and dad and the Cunninghams should have done? Bring me your money now. And I guarantee you, they all would have said, yes, okay. Bring me your silver and bring me your gold.
Okay, so you know what they did is they wore all their family wealth was in their jewelry and in the piercing and the earrings that they wore there. They wore their wealth.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was popular in the Middle East. You'll see the women with the little skinny bracelets, and they'd have them all the way up, And that was, you want to go take the bus to the next village or something like that. You had half the money you needed. You give them one of the bracelets, and they'd say, "No, 3. Okay, I'll give you 2."
Yep, I have 2. I have 2 from Saudi Arabia.
Really, and I can't find any from my family. I know my mother got them from her mother, and and now nobody knows where they are.
They're gold. Somebody melted them down.
Somebody could have taken them, but you never know where they were. My parents have been in the house for 62 years. Who knows?
By the way, did you bring me any of those posters from your dad's basement?
It's funny. Nick mentioned that today. And he's got pennants, too, from like the 60s when they made those pennants.
Oh, that's right. There's Nick in the mix. I forgot about that.
The old man, you know what he does? He keeps saying this, I got to get everybody together so everybody picks what they want. I said, okay, well, I'm here now from out of town. We'll call Jason, call this one. No. Next time you come. He's been saying that to me for 10 years.
I bet you would. Nick didn't get anything last time he was up there?
No, Nick was here there a couple days ago.
All right, Tora, take care, buddy. Good luck tomorrow.
Sleep, buddy. Good luck tomorrow.
You'll need it. Oh, sorry.
I got to get up about 4, maybe 4:30. I'll get up. I got to be there and setting up at 5:30.
Wow.
Yeah.
How many different
Oh,
voting places are you doing?
I have 7 now. I used to have 11 when I was in Fairfax County. I have 7. So recruiting people, people always have.
Set up?
I'll come down and hand them out for you if you want.
Come on.
So where are you going to be working tomorrow?
Okay, I've got Brambleton Middle, Madison's Trust, Creighton's Legacy, Stonehill, Briar Woods, and this other one, Moorfield.
Moorfield Station.
Yeah.
Yep. So you're just past me. Yeah, Briarwoods is I'm right next to Cedar Lane.
Cedar Lane.
We're gonna meet someday. We're gonna meet like in a Home Depot or
Yep. I actually had the weirdest dream. You were all at a restaurant, and I walked in and I saw Lee, and then I saw you and Bill, and I'm like, oh my God, I finally get to meet you in person.
Yeah, and Bill's just down the road from me a little bit. Bill's down the road. So where would you vote?
What?
Where would you vote?
I would vote at Cedar Lane, but I voted early.
Yeah, me too.
God.
Did you vote early?
So much. Hell no.
Why?
There's too much corruption with that early crap. Too many people. I'm sorry. I cannot believe that there's not a way to manipulate that. There's got to be a way. And if there's a way, someone found it out and has done it.
Chuck was hovering when I went to go in, and he's looking and he's asking all these questions and says, okay, where are the, and he's looking and he's like, so where does it show the count? And he was asking all these questions and and the first thing he noticed was when he did, absentee popped up, and he goes, wait, what was that? And he asked her, and she said, well, you're voting absentee because you're not doing it on the day of. so he was right on top and watching and looking at every little thing, So trust me, we both thought long and hard, but we decided to go ahead and vote early. Not that Cedar Lane is ever crowded, and I had the day off anyway. I could have gone at any time. I'm just used to getting up right away in the morning, going to vote, then going off to school. And I was like,
my opinion is this: you can't vote unless you have a Social Security number, and your Social Security number goes with your vote, and then you have to prove that you are the owner of that Social Security number. Boom, and that's the way it should be. And if you don't have one, go get one.
We were surprised.
If you don't have one, the government ought to make it so it's easy for you to get your card, because also you should be getting taxed. If you're a voter, you should be in the
taxpayer.
You should be a taxpayer. And right now, guess what? You don't have to be a taxpayer to be a freaking voter.
No, like my parents are in their 90s. They don't have. They file a return, but they have no income taxes.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But they're still filing, and they have Social Security numbers. I'm just saying, you can't let just any Joe who walks up and goes, "Hi, I'm Jose Altuve, and I would like to register to vote." Okay, where do you live, sir? I give my address, or some address that people think I have. I show an ID, which obviously is very easy to get also. And they sign me up as a registered voter. And you know what? It's not, and I'm not naming it either party. Both parties do it.
No, but what's wrong? They showed you the ID. What more do you need?
Well, how did they get the ID? I used to have friends would go take their mom's freaking birth certificate and go down to the DMV and get themselves a walker's ID. I just need a walker's ID. Okay, then they really don't give a shit. They say, "What's your name?" Okay, blah, blah, blah. Here you go. And now you got a credential from the government that says who you are.
I was surprised they asked for an ID when we voted. They did ask for it. My husband's like, "I thought this was a no ID state." Well, no, you don't have to have a picture ID, but you have to have an ID. proof of residency.
I'm sorry, Fred.
There's two parts of that. She just said there are two parts to that. One is proving who you are. So that's why you can use an expired passport up to so much time, because that doesn't, even if it's expired, doesn't change who you are. That's right. That's my proof. And then the other part of it is, am I entitled to vote? We got to, is it you? And then is that person entitled to vote? Are they a citizen? Are they whatever else you want to have them do?
Do they have to be a citizen?
Where do you live so you know which district?
You have to be a citizen to vote?
Well, the third and fourth time I went and voted this week, I didn't use the citizenship thing, but you know how we cheat, Lee. You know that, right?
The third or fourth time you went and voted.
Yeah, I
vote
used the
early, vote often. Vote early,
exactly.
vote often.
I always say that. You know what's funny? All the old guys come up to me. I swear to God, I've been doing this for 20-something years. The old guys, "Hey, how we looking?" Dude, how the hell do I know what's going on in there? How would I know? This guy took a pencil, he went like this, and he stuck it in the machine. What the hell do I know what he did? Yeah. And I realized years ago, I have to say to anybody who goes by, "Oh, it's looking good, looking good." Tell your friend, you got any friends who haven't voted yet? Yeah, get out there and get them in here. Go buy your buddy a cup of coffee and bring him in to vote. I can't imagine these gold guys come back. "Hey, I got my buddy Charlie here." Oh man, and they love to talk to me about that stuff. I don't know why. I must have some.
You're the old guy. You're an old guy too.
I'm the old guy. The old days.
I told you this before. Whenever I go to my polling place, which is the church down the street from where I live, I walk up. I take a ballot, an empty ballot from both sides. Yeah, and I know that chaps their asses. They're like going, because they're counting. Every time someone takes a Democratic ballot, they go, "Oh, Democrat." And then every time somebody takes a Republican,
I swear to God, I've never
they don't know. They don't know for sure, Fred. I understand that, but that's the soft poll. They're going, okay, we've given out 150 of these things. Okay, so at least 150 people here are voting Democrat. The Republicans, we've given out 75. Well, at least 75 are voting Republicans. We know that.
I swear to God, I've never known anybody to count. You were such.
Truly, you don't think that happens?
I've never. No,
I would do it.
I never
If
thought
I
about
was
it.
handing out paper, I'd be keeping track of how many I gave out to people. I don't know why, but so what I do is I go and I get them, I take them inside, I come back out, and I give them to them back. And of course, I don't pay attention
You
to
drive
what
them
they do with them or stuff.
insane. You probably drive them crazy.
I just don't want anybody to know any chance. I don't want any chance of anybody knowing who I'm voting
We
for.
were obnoxious about it when they
and I vote for both sides. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if Chap Peterson was one of my state senators, I'd vote for him every time.
I bet you would.
Guy.
He's the perfect guy for you.
He's a great guy. Why? What's wrong with him? I like the way you said that, Fred. He's the perfect guy for me. Why is that?
Perfect guy for you because he's a very conservative Democrat.
Mm-hmm. I asked him actually. I said to him, I heard you might be switching teams. And he laughed and he said, "No, I'm a Democrat." And I said, "Okay, just wondering." I just heard that because I did hear that. I heard the last time around that he was making inroads that he might flip. So,
ouch.
But he said that's not. No, I didn't know.
So he's somebody that can reach across the aisle.
He said he's never considered doing that. So, and I wanted him to give me an old Will Rogers quote, like I got to keep an eye on him.
You have so like, who's your delegate?
I don't even know, dude.
Oh, I was asking.
Sorry, I'm just not into it, so I have no idea.
Pauline, who's yours?
Springfield District or something, isn't it? Isn't Burke a Springfield
Our current
District?
one, I can't tell you. I'm too busy dealing with our crazy school board right now.
Yeah, we have all these people with signs saying school board recall in Fairfax. They're trying to recall the school board because of CRT or CTR or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah, critical race theory, CRT.
Yeah, CRT.
They don't call it. They go, oh, we don't teach CRT. No, but they teach diversity, equity, inclusion.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what it is?
CRT. Anyway.
Well, I mean, the one lady on the Facebook site said she pulled her kid out of Loudoun County schools because her 5-year-old came home one day and said, "Mommy, was I born evil because I have white skin?"
Oh.
Because her teacher was teaching that white people were mean and evil because they enslaved black people when they came. And she's talking about 200 years ago, but a 5-year-old doesn't know that. The 5-year-old just hears the color.
Yeah, a 5-year-old needs to be coloring in, staying inside the line.
Right. And so when this mom went into the school, right, she went to the school and she went to the principal and the teachers, oh, no. And yet 5 or 6 other kids in the class said, oh, yes, this is what she told us. She was like, nope.
Right. They don't have any understanding. You know what? Listen, here's the other thing, too. I remember James Dobson. You know who that is, Fred?
Gosh, that's awfully familiar.
Yeah, he's focused on the family, which is probably the most listened to conservative radio talk show in the world. Way more than those idiots on WMAL or whatever. Way more than I thought that Rush Limbaugh had a lot. Oh, Focus on the Family crushes him, I heard one year. I was watching the thing and they were talking about who's the most influential Christian or conservative radio show. It's Focus on the Family. Because people who listen to Focus on the Family, which is in the millions, do whatever Dobson says. And Dobson doesn't get political. He talks about family stuff. He talks about, I remember he wrote a book called Dare to Discipline that got, in the 70s, got all this grief about, no, you got to be like Dr. whatever his name is,
Dr. Spock.
It's Dr. Spock, because Dare to Discipline was all about showing people how to use corporal punishment. And it was Dobson used to say, you cannot spank a child when you're mad. You cannot. Do not do it. But if you have a child that's under the age of like 8, because at the age of 7 or 8, and this is a psychiatrist who studied all this, kids can't reason until they're over 7 years old. They don't have the ability to reason. So consequently, like Pauline said, this teacher's telling them things, and they can't calculate that properly at 5 years old. They can't understand what she's saying and how they can't reason for what's going on. It's not something that's in their makeup and their ability, their brain function or whatever. And God knows, I know a lot of adults that don't have that reasonability.
No, but that's why they believe in Santa Claus. They can't make that.
That's right. Exactly. No. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And so there's kids that are 9 and 10 and 11 years old who believe in Santa Claus.
Right. But around 8, we were saying is sort of around the norm, I guess.
That is the
they start
norm
catching
for
on.
me.
They go, I saw that. I saw that at Walmart last week.
How'd you get here?
Yeah.
I saw you pull up in a car.
Yeah.
But
you would get that.
Yeah, at the time of the Roman emperors, the time of George Washington, and when I grew up, is all in the past, and there is no understanding of long ago. Everything is long ago. 9/11 is long time ago. George Washington is long time ago. They can't.
Yeah. 9/11 happened because George Washington was cutting down a cherry tree. That's exactly right. That's to them, it's the same timeline. That's why it's so important in history to make timelines to show. I remember, listen, here's one of the things that I was looking at, one of these crazy facts kind of things. You can put every planet in our solar system, if you line them up next to each other, between the Earth and the Moon. All 7 planets can go between the Earth and the Moon if you put them next to each other. So it gives you an idea of how far they are really away from you, And they have, like, for instance, I remember the science teacher who did the planetarium used to bring them out into the hall, and he would have one person take this planet and go all the way to the end of the hall, and he said, here's how far, and now add 100,000 to it, and that's how far they are from each other. So they're not close, that kind of thing. And he would try to explain that to kids. And so you have to use that visual for them.
Right.
In fact, one of the cool visuals that I thought I saw one day was that everyone was supposed to make a balloon and put their name on it. And then he put all the balloons, something about it, put them all in the hallway. I think I sent it to you, Pauline.
No, but I know the story. Then you go out and go look for your balloon. It takes you forever. But if everybody works together and you pick up a balloon with the person's name on it,
and give it to the person's name on it,
and you bring it to that person, it goes so fast within 5 minutes. Boom.
Yeah. If you're an individual working by yourself, you can't find your balloon.
Right.
I mean, you can't. There's too many balloons for you to go through and look.
Now, I have an interesting space factoid that I wrote to NASA about 50 years ago. I was thinking I was late teens.
I love that you're a letter writer. It's beautiful.
Oh, yeah. That was before. There was no internet. There was no place to get this.
My dad was a letter writer. My dad used to write letters to people.
I said, "How do you know what direction all the planets are moving? How do you know where they are? Like, are we going up? Are we going sideways? Are we going backwards? What are we? I mean, are we all going this way?" So they said, and they wrote back and explained it, and they said, it's funny, but the planets are all on an even plane, pretty much even plane around the sun. Here's the sun, and they're going around. They're not going this way, and then one's going that way, and so they're all, and they call that the plane of the ecliptic. So all the planets are basically, they're a little bit off, but they're basically going around. And they say there is no up or down. It doesn't, because we don't know if we're going this way. And you name the body that you're headed to, and you call it that. You say,
plane moves. The plane does.
Right. The plane can be like, right. So am I going sideways?
So it's moving as it's going around the sun.
Exactly.
That's we're exactly doing this, and that's why we have seasons.
So they call it the plane of the ecliptic, and if you're going, because they're level, they call it above and below the plane. So you say, I'm 100,000 miles above the plane. That's not accurate because we could be going that way, but you got to simplify. At some point, you got to say, I'm going this way.
And you know what's
Here's
interesting?
the equator of the sun, and this is where we're going.
This is where we're going. So it's
when
above a
Pluto
bowl,
was declassified as a planet,
yes.
did you know that it had not yet it had just made over halfway around its first trip around the sun. Hadn't even made it around the sun yet.
Get out. Really?
Nope. Yep. I was just reading that the other day, one of those strange facts.
I usually have to stop with that stuff. I start paying attention to it. I can't absorb anymore. I don't know what 400 million miles is. I don't know.
Yeah. Light years.
Say, if you started walking today, it would take you 1 billion years to get to. I don't know. That's too big a number. I got a bunch of numbers I can handle. What did
I hear the other day? Somebody said if you can cut a piece of paper 8 by 11, 42 times in half, and then you stack them next to each other, you'll reach the moon. All the pieces. How can you comprehend that? I was like, what? I was like, what? Imagine when you get down to the small little pieces, you can't, you just have to think how it's halfway, it's a half cut. I was like, what? 42 times.
We used to do that. Like we'd say to each other when we were like junior high school, would you rather have $1 now, or I give you a penny today and I double it tomorrow and I double it the next? And it was like $1 million at the end of the month or something.
Well, it wasn't $1 million, but
whatever it was a lot of money.
Right. Well, they said that about something like that. It was
I'll do that with my grandkids.
Would you rather have $2,000 or $100 a week?
My mom, sent all sorts of things when I turned 20 and we were getting married. Like if you put this much money aside when you're in your 20s before start thinking about retirement in your 40s or 50s. You'll be a millionaire by the time you're retired. Of course, who can afford that? But, it was like, oh, yeah,
I think my uncle did that. My Uncle Bob was the youngest of my grandmother's siblings. I think he did that because he was a mathematician or scientist with the Army, the Department of Defense with the Army. He and his group are the ones that basically invented the internet. They were designed to be able to make it so that digitally Army bases and Army people could talk back and forth to each other digitally. And they designed that setup, which means, Al Gore, I'm sorry, you're wrong. My Uncle Bob created the internet. But him and his team basically did. That's exactly. But of course, they didn't pay him nothing. No. But my Uncle Bob was a millionaire by the time he retired because they lived in Arlington. When they moved from Arlington, he just put away money. They didn't spend money frivolously.
Right.
They had very nice things. My aunt always had nice dresses. Now, I think she made pretty decent money herself because she had her own beauty parlor in her house in Arlington, and the ladies would come and get their hair done. She would do their hair, and so maybe that might be the money they put away. You know what I mean? Whatever she was making, because he was bringing home the money to take care of the household, take care of his wife, and whatever money she was making, they may have been putting away, and that's what added up to being. I knew that my Uncle Bob had millions of dollars.
Right. The article I think was like if you put $50 a month away, you would have more money if you started when you're 20 than putting $500 a month away when you're 50.
Right.
Oh yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Exactly.
Cat lady's been yawning here.
Yeah. I've
been getting all these stinking emails, text messages. Here's some more.
So Wexton is my representative.
Are you ready? Have you made a plan to vote? What are you waiting for? Hold on. Let's see. Hurry, find your election day polling place here.
Yes, Jennifer Wexton is your state representative. She runs next year, but your U.S. representative. But is it Suhas? No, or David? No. Wendy. How am I drawing a blank? Wendy.
Who's this Meares guy? He's going up against Herring, right?
Yes, that's right.
I'm voting for Herring probably. Meares looks so shifty. That's the reason why I'm not voting for Terry McAuliffe. He looks like he's a Shifty mother effer. And so does that Muriez guy.
Here's a story
I
from
don't
a
like
friend
him.
of mine. Oh.
What a party. That's cool.
Wait a minute.
Is that your boy?
Terry.
Is that from Terry? Oh, look at that. How nice is that, Fred?
Fred, the greatest
Democrat. Handwriting.
The greatest Democrat in Virginia.
That is shifty handwriting.
Who's the greatest Democrat in the country? In Virginia.
In
Fred.
Virginia? I don't know.
Fred is.
Look right here. Look what Terry says.
Oh, the greatest Democrat in Virginia. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I believe that, Fred.
That's definitely.
I believe you are, but you know what? If I told them half the crap you and I talk about, they'd be like, "Oh, what?"
No. I meant his father, Fred, is the greatest. No, young Fred. No, I got nothing to do with him. Do you know my parents, particularly my mother, still call me Little Freddie?
Do they?
Yeah, I'm pushing 70 years old. Little Freddie. They'll still mention that. He was always known as Big Fred, and I'm Little Freddie.
They don't call you Frederick,
whatever.
huh?
Freddie. And we said, which one, big or little? And that's all.
They didn't say Frederick. They didn't call you Frederick?
Only in school when I was in trouble.
Oh, or yeah, if you're outside playing with your friends and you didn't come home in time, they would yell, Fred, what's your middle name?
Nicholas. Nick and I flipped.
Nicholas, where you better get home.
No, they would yell down the street, and the moms would pass it down, you know. Who was that for? That was for Freddie. What's the matter? He's got to get home. Okay. And you run down the street.
My mom had a big brass school bell. We heard that sucker. You start booking it.
I'm not kidding you. Listen.
The street lights came on.
I'm going to put my microphone away.
Lights came on. Yep.
I'm putting my microphone away. Okay, I know you guys can barely hear me, but my dad would walk out on the front porch and go, and he would, and that's, gotta go, guys. That's my dad whistling.
That's it. And speaking of going, I got to get up at like 4:30, so I got to get some sleep.
All right, guys.
Have a great day.
Have a great day yourselves. God bless you.
Thank you.
Everybody get out and vote tomorrow. Yep, I'll be there.
All done.
Knocking on the door at the see. I'm done.
I get to sleep in. I'm so excited.
And all your votes got in. You got all 7 votes got into the thing. Good.
Oh yeah, because I've done at least a half dozen since we've been sitting here. I've been online.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, every time Pauline laughs, like it picks up the volume of her laugh.
McCall. I will tell you this though, Fred. Of the friends of Torres who came to Torres' house, and I wasn't saying a word. I didn't say a word. Yeah. I'm just listening. They were running scared, dude. They were all like, oh, I don't know. In fact, one of the guys works with the communication group, and he's mad about the whole thing. In fact, the guy who's the head of the communication group, this guy, Jimmy, I think his name is Jim something. He said, you know what? I'm telling you right now, one of the biggest things I keep putting up the red flag about is that McAuliffe's all his ads talk too much about Youngkin. He said they all talk about Youngkin.
Advertisement for them.
Don't give airtime, Mary.
He keeps giving Youngkin name out there, and he needs to stop that.
I was saying the same thing. He's giving him air. Cut off the oxygen. Don't do it. Oh, I hear the garage door going. My sweet bride is home.
Yay.
All right, and she's gonna wonder why you're not in bed.
Right.
I don't mean that kind of getting.
I don't know what you're saying, Lee, but I'm gonna go.
I'm
gonna go.
She said, "Fred, don't you have to get up at 4:30?" That's what my wife does. She throws those little.
Okay. I'm going.
All right. I'm going. What's this say?
So here's the last meme I just got today. It's Jill. Jill Biden said, "For the love of God, please stop. He thinks his name is Brandon now."
Oh no!
Oh no! I don't understand.
You don't understand. She'll tell you what it means.
Yeah.
Right. That's the F. Joe Biden.
Oh yeah. No, those are the ones where you got Obama doing this. F. Joe Biden doesn't mean what you think it means.
See y'all. Bye-bye.
All right, my man. One of the things that I saw, are you familiar with the Babylon Bee?
Yes.
So am I. I love it. God, I love it.
So
oh
funny.
My God. And both sides, they go after both sides, even though they are definitely conservative. But the one that I saw was the one that says KKK member standing at a Yunkin rally by the Yunkin tour bus. Turns out to be Ralph Northam. I was like, oh, that's just wrong. That's just wrong. That's just wrong.
I'm on several different Facebook groups, moms and things like that, and two ladies said that they were talking with the neighborhood. They're very friendly and very talkative to each other, and two of her neighbors who were I vote blue no matter who is not this time. Is not just
wow.
Such a it was all about being mom and education. That was more important. And then somebody was at the parade last night, and a Terry representative was going around handing candy, and she told her kids, "No, don't take candy from him." And they closed up the bag, and she put her hands in front and said, "No, thank you." And he kept trying to shove, and he was like starting to pull the kid's bag and trying to stuff candy, and the kids are like, "No, we don't want it." And they really got aggressive in the Leesburg Halloween parade. It's like, really? Putting candy in my kid's bag is not going to make me want to vote for you. You're getting creepy. Back off.
Exactly. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting day tomorrow. I'm going to not really probably pay attention to any of it.
Yeah. When we went to vote early, they were offering us
I'm sorry. I can't
the ballots. I laugh at you. I really would have liked to do both, but it was so funny. This one lady came running up to me. "Would you like it? Blah, blah, blah." I'm like, "No, thank you." Just kind of like, nope, don't want to touch that one. And then the lady across the way, she's like, "Would you like one of these?" I'm like, "Yes, please." They all just went.
Actually, if they come running over to you with their thing, if that happens to me tomorrow, I'm going to take it from her. I'm going to go, oh, okay, let me look at it. Okay, good. I know who not to vote for. Thanks very much. There you go. And then I'll walk in.
Yeah.
No, I won't do that. They don't do that. And where I'm at, they just stand there, and I love when they ignore you. Like they've made a predetermined who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And what your vote's going to be.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, listen, when it comes to local politics, for me, it's who's the best candidate. And I will tell you that Sharon Bulova was one of my favorite people. Okay, politically, definitely don't align. But she helped everybody. If you needed anything, you were a member of her community. And her job was to support her community.
And my parents were friends with her. Yeah, my parents were very much friends with her. And, they're same thing. They're not politically aligned, but they did.
Well, no, Sharon was definitely a Democrat. There's no doubt about it. She lined up with whatever the Democrats said she did. But if you called, there was no question about, are you a Democrat or Republican? Did you vote for us? No. What do you need? Okay, I'll look into it.
Yep.
And especially if it has nothing to do with politics,
right?
She's going to look into it for you. What's her name? The lady who was the Board of Supervisors chairman for years. After Pat Harity got bumped.
Yeah.
What was her name? She was McConnell. Is that it? Yeah, Miss McConnell. She was at the Springfield District, where the Springfield District Police Station was. She was the representative. Something McConnell. Anyway, I forget.
It sounds so familiar,
but she was like your mom. You know what I mean? She had that mom thing. She was kind of looked like Barbara Bush, kind of, a little bit. I think she was a Democrat too. Elaine McConnell, that was her name. Elaine McConnell. And I had lots of interactions with her. She was always very sweet, very nice. Mm-hmm. But then again, so is Dianne Feinstein, and she is the devil incarnate. So I love that we're doing this live. But if you meet her in the hallways, I mean, one of my favorite people that I've met that was very sweet and nice was Hillary Clinton. I met her in the hall and I was like, "Hi, hello, Senator." And she's like, she was on her way up to be sworn in. She's like, "Oh, not yet." It's like that. "Oh, sorry, no, not yet." I said, "Well, good luck." She goes, "Thank you very much." She was just so sweet. Didn't have any, and that's because she's a politician. She knows how to be nice to everybody. I'm going to be nice to you. Now, if I find out you're not voting for me, screw you. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's the case. I don't have any clue on that. I can't tell you that's the truth. I know that Ted Kennedy went out of his way to be nice to people. Went out of his way, especially for his constituents. Oh my God! If he heard that Boston accent, oh, he'd come over. What you doing? Okay, come on, let's get some pictures. And all this kind of stuff. I mean, he was dynamite, man. I mean, he was so good at working people.
He knew what to do.
Yeah, but I really believe he killed that girl. So there you go. So, but nice enough guy. Although his dog bit one of the Capitol Police officers. He had some kind of water dogs, and
not like Obama's water dog.
Yeah, I think so. He probably got one from Kennedy, actually.
Yeah,
probably.
I think that's. Yeah, I thought that they did.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, something. I can't remember, like Peruvian water dog or something like that.
Black curly fluffy.
Yeah. And Kennedy would go out across First Street from the Russell Building where his office was, and he had the tennis ball picker upper thing that you go like this and it throws the ball, and he would and the dogs, of course, were highly trained. So they didn't run off. They wouldn't, whatever. But they were both laying, and I guess what happened is somebody startled them, and the dog and bit him. But that's not the dog's fault, I mean,
I've been meaning
he
to
walks
ask.
his dogs around inside the Russell Building. I was like, I'm
Right.
going to get a dog and walk around the Russell Building with it.
Yeah. I've been meaning to ask, what did you and Fred, or was it Bill, did you all work together at the Capitol
Channel
Building?
10.
What?
No, we all worked for Channel 10 doing high school sports.
Okay.
Yeah, including Tony, who doesn't come on the air with us. But me and Fred and Bill, and that's it, worked together doing Channel 10 sports games.
Cool.
Fred was always the sideline camera guy, pretty much. He used to carry a camera up on his shoulder, and I was typically everything. I did everything. I would do cameras. Mostly, though, I was on the air. I was the play-by-play or color commentator for the games and stuff, mostly, or a sideline reporter.
I remember Chuck talking about Channel 10, and I can't remember what his connection was to it.
I want to think maybe Chuck came out with us and helped us once. I can't remember.
I'll have to ask him, because I know
or he may have gone to Channel 10 to do a radio show or something like that. I don't know.
Maybe was it part of Nova? Was it?
No, that was a different recording studio.
Okay, so I know Chuck did something over there
Nova
too.
at Annandale had a TV station.
Yeah, I remember Chuck doing something over there before too.
Yeah. So I don't know about Channel 10.
Okay.
But I don't remember necessarily, but I don't remember a lot of that. So, God, I wish I could blame it on drugs or something, but I can't.
Yeah, I know. So. Chuck brings up all sorts of stuff. Well, remember such and so and did that. I'm like, nope. They're like, yeah, we did. I'm like, nope.
But I'm sure you remember stuff that Heath goes, nope.
Right.
I mean, I know that I remember all kind of stuff. People say to me all the time, how the hell do you remember that? My dad does that to me. That never happened. Yes, it did, Dad. How do you remember that? And I'm like, well, dude, first of all, you don't remember because you're freaking 81 years old.
Right.
That's why you don't remember it. But I remember distinctly things that I remember my dad doing when I was a kid. Because how much of an impact do our parents have on us? We know that, right?
Those
I know my dad did not beat me when I was a kid. I barely got spanked. If I got spanked, I got spanked by my mom. My mom would keep my dad, I found out later in life. She would keep him from beating my ass because he'd be ready to beat my ass. And my mom would say, you told me you didn't want to be like your dad. And not that his dad was evil to him. You know what I mean? It's just that his dad would get very angry with him about stuff because he screwed up too. We all screw up. And his dad would get in his case and stuff like that. And it scarred him a little, I think. But my mom would pull that, and he would back out.
That was good. That saved you. Yeah, yep. I remember spankings.
I remember my dad. I remember telling my dad he had me pinned against the wall because I think I talked back to my mom nastiness or something like that. And he stopped me in the hallway and pinned me up against the wall and raised his hand. And I said, I'll report you for child abuse. And my dad got this look of horror in his eyes. What? And then all of a sudden I saw it change to, well, let me give you something to report. And I was like, oh, shit. And I just ran out the front door. He chased me across the street into my neighbor's yard. He pushed me from behind. I hit the ground. He picks me up. He goes, let's go. And he didn't drag me, but kind of dragged me back into the house. Everybody's out mowing their lawn going, what the fuck's going on with the Bailey? He's dragging me back to the house, and he takes me down the hallway, puts me in my room. He goes, I'll be back when I won't kill you. And he closed the door. And I was like, oh, Jesus. Lord Jesus. I started praying and crying. Because all the way back, I was like, I'm sorry, Dad. I'm sorry. I won't report you for child abuse. I was like, oh, Dad, don't do it. Because I knew the gig was up, man. I was so afraid he
went just that far over the line.
I'll come back when I won't kill you. And going back to earlier, what we were saying about Dobson, that's the same thing Dobson said. Don't ever hit a child in anger, Yep. But if the consequence that you've already discussed with them is a spanking, you need to make sure you give them a spanking.
Oh, yeah.
But don't do it if you're mad. Wait until you're not mad. Then you say, okay,
right.
Time for your spanking.
I think the boys got spankings when they were told not to run out into the road when we lived in a townhouse in a parking lot and people came play. And it was not really anger. It was more of fear that says you've got to learn that this is the line, this curve. You cannot dart out between these cars because you are going to die. And I seem to remember spanking one of them that says, no, do not try that again, but.
Sure. Or if the kid's reaching up for the stove,
right. Yeah.
Smack their hand. You do not do that.
Me spanking your hand might shock you in pain, but it's going to be a whole lot less than the 3rd-degree burn you got from the burner.
Right. March my kid down to the burn unit in GW. You see that lady right there? You can't even tell she's a lady. That's because she reached up and touched the stove.
Weren't there things, movies, Scared Straight, telling you're going to throw kids in, right? That was going to scare them to death.
It worked.
Doesn't phase them now. Doesn't phase them. No. I
remember, it worked more on us, I think, than the kids. But with my juvenile justice class, we went to Lorton. And we went to Lorton to see a program that the prisoners did for youth. And it was called Take It From Me, was the program. And the prisoners put on the program. Wow. It was something they designed, they came up with, whatever. And it was a program designed to say, if you think ending up here is the ultimate, let me show you what you need to do to get here, And then we're going to tell you about what it's really like here, And we got there, our juvenile justice class, and the class came through on the back side of the prison. There was you drove up and parked, and there was like a motorhome kind of thing, like double wide.
Right.
But it was office trailers. Is what it was. That's what it was. Office trailers. And we went up in there to check in and everything. And there's this old guard standing there, got gray and white beard, black guy, nice, seemed, and he had on 3 stripes, which I know is sergeant. And he said, all you guys that got long hair, tuck it inside your collar. Ladies, you should do the same thing. And he said, and also if you have any jewelry on, take it off and put it in your pocket. Men especially. Because they're going to talk to you. If you look like a girl, they're going to talk to you like a girl. So just be aware. And ladies, when we go in there, eyes forward. There's going to be a ton of people calling out stuff. Don't look at them. Just keep walking straight. And he goes, and here's the deal. I could go in there and we could have 100 officers around you. If they want to get to you, they're going to get to you. Okay? There's no way for me to protect you. But you're going in there with a group of inmates. It's their program. That's why you're safe. Because the other inmates won't screw with them. They won't screw with the inmates doing this program. So they won't. That's why you're safe. Not because of me.
Wow.
But because of them. And we're like, all right.
Okay.
I kind of understood that whole, because I'd already read The Hot House, which is about Leavenworth Prison. And so I kind of already grasped that whole culture. It was very interesting. But as we went in, guess who got the most cat calls?
You.
Hey, fat boy. Oh, I love that juicy ass. You know, they were calling all kind of stuff. And I was just sitting there and I was trying not to smile too much because I was like, I wanted to go, yeah, but I'm down here and you up there. Something like that. But I was like, no, Lee. At one point I did look and the guy said, that's right. I'm talking about you or something like that. And, you know, it's cool. You know, I didn't get scared. I didn't walk scared. I still walked confidently and stuff. But I knew, you know, this is a dangerous place. And that's the other thing. He said, when we came in, he goes, when you come in, you look over to the right and you see the wall and it's painted 10 feet high in white. Okay. And that 10 feet of white right there, if anybody touches it, there's a shoot order from the guards, tower guards. If you touch that wall, they have a direct shoot order. Now, there's 2 fences between us and that wall, and I'm not climbing any fences. But anyway, but I also knew that was the real deal because my uncle, who was a disabled veteran, he had a job as a tower guard at Huntsville State Prison in Texas. Ooh. And he had to shoot a guy off a fence once.
Wow.
He was a marksman.
I was going to say marksman is sharpshooter.
And they kept calling this guy, and the guy had already made it over the top of the first fence, was heading up the second fence, and they were telling him, jump off the fence. Do not climb down. Do not keep climbing. Jump off the fence now, or you will be shot. Jump off the fence, and then they called the order and said, shoot him. And my uncle seriously was trying to hit him in the hip, and hit him, came up a little bit and just killed him instantly and knocked him off the fence. And I don't think it was a headshot. I think it was just underneath his arm.
Yeah.
Heart shot. But I don't know exactly. I know my aunt was telling me the story. He didn't tell me the story. My aunt told me the story. He used to be a member of the Carlson's Raiders in the Navy back in World War II. Yeah.
So it was like a sniper?
Well, he was just a special forces guy. This was before they had SEALs and before they had airborne and all that crap. These were guys who were specialized.
He was an expert marksman at the time.
Right. No, that's what you had to be in Carlson's Raiders. You had to be an expert marksman. You had to be hand-to-hand combat proficient, all that kind of stuff, you know, because you were going in behind the lines and doing all kinds of little missions in your patrol squad of like 8 guys or something like that. So, and again, this is all my aunt telling me. You know, my uncle didn't talk about aunt.
They didn't.
And my uncle was a disabled veteran because he was on a aircraft carrier, and they were manning the boats during a Zero attack, and the gun tub over from his got a Zero, went straight into it, and he inhaled the fire, and so it burnt his. So he had emphysema, and he smoked, but he had emphysema, and he also had his ears because of there's no ear protection. Those guns are so concussive and loud. It just killed his ears. So he used to always say, like I would say something to him. I say, hey, Uncle Brian, I'm going to go do such and such. What did you say? Speak up, boy. Quit whispering. It's my fault that he couldn't hear me. Not his fault.
Right.
You know, yes, sir. I'm sorry, Uncle Brian. You know. So yeah, he was a great guy though. I mean, he taught me a lot about animals, and you know, I just watching him.
Right.
I got so many stories of.
I was going to say, I bet he had some great stories to
Yeah,
write
he
down
never.
too.
No, he didn't talk about nothing. He was a cowboy, a real cowboy, a real cowboy. Had the. I mean, that's what he did. He used to break horses. He used to do all kinds of stuff. Back in the day, and of course, this is just all my aunt telling me all these stories, because he was a lot older than my aunt, like maybe 25 years older.
Wow.
And but he was a cowboy, man. And I can only imagine. I saw pictures when he was, younger and getting ready to marry her, and he's probably about 40 years old or something. She was like 20, and but he was a stud. I mean, he was a cowboy. He was a cowboy for real. I mean,
A
every
man's
day.
man.
I never saw that man without his. No, that's not true. In the morning, he would come out with just his t-shirt on and a pair. He had jeans on. He'd pull his jeans on and come out, but he'd wear slippers. You know, he had boots for every occasion. And he had that hat, that straw old cowboy hat, which was his signature. He always had that hat on. And yeah, man, I
That's
wish
cool.
I'd thought about it. If I'd thought about it, I would have told my aunt that I wanted his hat. But he had a previous wife with kids, so his kids probably got all that stuff. And I think Aunt Ruth didn't care. She was taking care of the farm after he died, and she took care of him, of course. But
Where did they live?
Huntsville, Texas. They lived
Wow.
in Huntsville, and he worked at the Huntsville State Prison. He used to, before he went he started working there, and then his veterans disability person said you can't work that many hours, so he would work 3 days a week in the tower as a tower guard. But before that, listen to this: in a prison, he was teaching butchering. Teaching inmates how to butcher. And I'm
I
like,
would be
well,
giving them
yeah,
knives.
no shit. But yeah, they had to check them in and check them out all that kind of stuff. You couldn't carry those back to your cell, and you
Wow.
weren't allowed to leave the area unless everything got checked back in. I remember asking him about that. You taught butchering in the prison? He goes, yeah. I said, weren't you ever scared with those guys? No, those guys wanted to learn a trade. They all in there wanted to learn how to do it. And he goes, nah, there was never an issue ever. I never had a problem with any of
Wow.
it. And yeah, so
It would be nice if, and I don't know how much they do in prisons now, but I know that they all get, they can take classes in education, but I wish they would teach more trade work,
well, they used to,
Right.
In fact, prisons used to be self-sufficient. Lorton was a self-sufficient prison. They had cattle, they had crops, they even had, and you can still see it to this day if you go down to Occoquan, they had a brick kiln where they made bricks for the buildings that are on the property, and they knew how to do brickwork, and they knew how to be a mason and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
They taught them all how to do that stuff and they were required to do it.
They were required
there's no I don't feel like doing it today, boss. Tough shit. You're doing it, you're
Right.
going to work just like everybody else. And even the inmates would take care of that. Oh, you think you're going to stay here and just sit on your butt while I'm out sweating my butt off? No,
Yep.
pal. You're coming with us. And that was one of the things with these guys when we went in to do this program. First, we got there and we were supposed to be observing a group from JDC, okay, that was coming in to get this program, and we were going to observe the program as college students. And I was an older college student, but we're sitting there, and we started off with us because they had a lockdown down in Luray, but then they showed up. But when we were there, the guy first started asking us questions, and this dude was huge, big muscles, and just all this stuff. He was a Marine, former Marine, I guess. I don't know. One of the first things he asked all of us, he goes, which amendment takes away slavery in this country? and several people knew right off 13, right? Something like that. I don't know which one it is, but a lot of my classmates were like, boom, they hit him. He said, what does that amendment say? It says there's no more slavery in this country, right? Yes. Did you read the whole amendment? The whole amendment says there's no slavery of anyone except for convicts. It says that. So I'm a slave, and it's legal. Anyway, he just wants you to know that. And he said, yeah. And anyway, of course, they don't treat them like that anymore.
No.
But they used to. What we have here is failure to communicate. Anyway, but he stood up there and he asked this guy in front of him. He goes, one of the guys in my class. He said, "What'd you have for dinner last night?" And he's like, I had 2 hot dogs and some chips or something, whatever, something simple. He knew what he had for dinner. He goes, okay. He said, what'd you have for dinner last Monday? And the guy's like, geez, I don't remember. Maybe we had pizza or something. I can't remember. He said, okay. He said, what'd you have for dinner? And when was this? I can't remember what year this was, but what do you have for dinner in 1989 on Thursday? And he's like, the first Thursday of the week in May, something like that. And he's like, I have no idea. He said, okay. He goes to the girl next to him. He says, do you know what you had? She's like, no. Blue. He goes, yeah. He goes, what'd you have for dinner? 1989, whatever, on Wednesday, second week of the month. He said, we had chicken with such and such and such and such and such and such and such. He named up all the shit they had for dinner. He goes, okay. He said, do they have that every Wednesday? No. Then how do you remember that? I got nothing else to remember.
You got the month menu and it.
Can I tell you something? I was like, what? This guy remembered what he had for dinner like 8 years earlier, 10 years earlier on a certain day. And they don't, and it's not like it's the same thing. Okay.
Oh, it's not
the same thing. No, he remembers because he's got nothing else to remember. I sat there and went, what? I mean, I was like, oh my God, that's enough reason right there to not go to prison. That's enough reason right there. I didn't need you to tell me anything else. I'm done. I'm done. And when they walked us in, they walked us through one of the cell blocks. And people talking shit. They walked us by cell block C. And nobody in cell block C said anything. We went by B and they were all catcalling and shit like that. And then we went into this classroom and so many things happened, Pauline. In the classroom, one of the first things he said, we get something called shanks. Do you know what a shank is? And the kid, it's a knife or a weapon you make. Right. Well, I mean, how do you make that? He said, I'll tell you. Look underneath your chairs. We were in school desks. You know the little bars that go across the bottom that you put your textbooks on? They were all gone. He goes, they come in here and they knock those out and they take them back to their cell. And then because it's such an offense to have that in their room, in their cell, you don't make a shank unless you're going to use it. You don't keep one just for defensive purposes or just to have in your cell. You don't. He said, when you get one, you're going to use it. He said, so at night when you're sitting in your cell, you hear, and they're sharpening it up on the ground. And everybody's got to be saying, I hope that's not for me. Because it's for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in there, man, this is badass. I was like, nah. And they had a guy, here's another one that got me that I said, see, here's another reason. There's enough million of them, but they had this one guy there and they called him not Blue, Professor or something like that. Nice, good older black gentleman, had some gray in his beard. He looked very distinguished. And they asked him, when did you come in for 17? How old are you now? 62. They said, okay. They said, what do you do here in the prison? He said, what have you attained while being here? Well, I have my master's in jurisprudence. I have my, doctorate in such and such, and which is a law-related something or other. I don't know. But that's what he's been doing his whole life. He went to college and prison. He got his degree. He went to pre-law. He went to law school, and then he got his doctorate in law. And he helps people with their appeals. And he said, I help people with their appeals. How many people have you helped get out on appeal? 71 in the times I've been here. 71 people I've helped get out. And he said, the guy asked him, how many of them came back into prison? 71. He said, let me ask you, well, no, not 71, 69 or something like that. The other 3 died. He said, of all 71, hold on. He got 71 out, and there was like 20 of them, or they went out and then they came back. He said, when they left here, did you ever get a card or a phone call or anything from any of them once they walked out the door? Nope. Never. He got him out of prison, and they didn't even say thank you. They didn't send him cigarettes or cash or nothing. Nothing. That's when they said, and how many of them came back in? He said like 60.
All of them. Yeah.
Almost all of them. And it's like, and one guy, and then he said, in fact, one of them that came back, one of them that his appeal didn't work. Why? Because he did it. That's why. But he helped him with his appeal, and the appeal didn't get turned. His conviction did not get overturned. So he and 7 guys came into the shower where I was, taking a shower, and they came in, and I got stabbed 34 times. He said they cut me from here to here, cut my throat from here to here. They this, that, and another thing, right? He showed a couple other wounds and scars, and they cut him open. They tried to gut him. And then the guy goes, so what happened? They took you to the infirmary? He said, yeah, what happened to the other 7? He goes, they took one of them to the infirmary. He goes, well, what happened to the other 6? They didn't make it. And I'm looking at this guy, and I'm going, that dude killed 6 people. He killed 6 people. And I'm like, because they were trying to kill him. I mean, I get it, whatever.
Right.
But there's a man sitting right there, not 3 steps from me, who killed 6 people. I was like, shit. And I'm sitting there, and then finally they brought the kids in. And they bring the kids in, they're sitting down. They start talking to the kids. There's like this little blonde-headed kid, white kid. They said, what'd you do, boy? Armed robbery. And I was like, kid looks like he's freaking 7. What do you mean armed robbery? But then a lot of them, now listen to this, a lot of the kids, what'd you do? Talk back to my teacher. What'd you do? Talk back to my teacher. A lot of them were in because they talked back to their teacher. And I'm sure it's not just one occasion, but them being belligerent with the teacher and stuff like that.
That was the start.
They got put into juvenile detention because of it. And it's like, because that's assault. You yell at a teacher or say something to a teacher that's dangerous or whatever, that's assault.
Right.
And some schools, principals, I remember I had a girl push me one time when I was working security at Manassas Park. And it didn't hurt me. I didn't even step back. In fact, it scared the crap out of her because she's a big girl, and she pushed me. She went, oh, shit. And I said, let's go. And she went in thinking, my principal told me, you got to go right now down and swear out a warrant for her arrest for assault. And I was like, well, she didn't really. He goes, Lee, it's for her own good. You have to do it because this girl got a lot of, But they were going to send her finally. It would be a point where her probation officer said, Now we've got enough that we can put her in a women's program school, a school for women that's, a lockdown kind of place, but it's a special program to help her to deal with her violent tendencies and like that. I mean, I got along great with the girl. I never had any issues with her because I treated her with respect. And that's the other thing too. A lot of times people think, these kids will act out to see how you react.
Right.
I don't react, and they were always like, "Yeah, you're cool, Mr. Bailey." I remember I had kids say to me, "Mr. Bailey, you're the only one in this school that loves us." I'm like, "That's not true, dude." Yes, it is. No, it's not true. There's lots of teachers in here that care
They love
about
you. You don't like what they're doing for you, but they love you.
Yeah, and I remember that was a girl that said that to me. She goes, Mr. Bailey, you're the only one in this school who loves us. No one else gives a rat's ass. And I was like, that's not. And this was a self-contained math class, so all these kids are at risk, and most of them anyway.
Right.
But anyway, this whole the prison thing was crazy. I had these three kids sitting behind me, and I heard them like they're just the whole time chatting with each other. Well, I don't know what that girl said. And the guy up front goes, Sarge. And the Sarge stood up. He goes, yeah. And he walked up because the whole time Sarge had been sitting in the back behind a partition. You couldn't even see him. He couldn't see what was going on. He didn't care. And he said, Sarge. And Sarge got up and said, he's like eating a sandwich. What? What do you want? He said, permission to cross the line. And that's the first time I noticed they're not allowed to come across this line that was on the floor. I didn't even pay attention to. And I'm like, oh. He goes, permission to cross the line. Yeah, go ahead. He came around. He started walking towards me. Then he went around me, and he walked up to these young men. And they of course now are quiet, and they're looking at me. He goes, "You have something you want to say to everybody?" And they're like, mm-hmm. You guys, you have something you want to say to me? Mm-hmm. Let me tell you something. First of all, when someone's talking, you need to be respectful. You need to listen to what they're saying. And I'm not here, okay, because I want to be here. I'm here because I want to tell you guys what it's like. Because you have some preconceived notion that this is the deal. This is the cool place to be. Okay? And we've been talking about a lot of things. Okay? And I want to know one thing. Permission to put my hands on him. Sergeant's like, go ahead. He said, let me ask you something. If you came up in this prison and I walked up behind you and I put my hand on your shoulder, and he did. This is a big dude. Put his hand on the kid's shoulder. He goes, what are you going to do? And the kid's like, you can do anything I tell you to do. And the kid's like, and I'm about to shit my pants. I'm like going, oh, Jesus. I can tell you if he put his hand on my shoulder, do whatever he told me to do. I mean, my God, I was in there going, he walks back up to the front. I hear this kid say, I'd fuck him up or something like that. I want to go, dude, guess what he just said? I turned around and looked at him and goes, you got to be out of your mind. And they just kind of looked at me like this. I said, you've got to be out of your mind. I turned around and told him.
Yeah.
I said, you are a crazy kid. You're a little skinny kid. I'm going to break him in half.
They have this bubble around themselves. They just think that nothing's going to happen to them. That they, oh no, I'm innocent of this. It's not that nothing bad's really going to happen to me. Oh.
I think before they got there, they asked us about. You remember C Block that we went through, and we were all like, yeah. He goes, that's a 24-hour lockdown cells. Those people in there are at risk because they're pedophiles, they're gay, they're something else. I don't know. Or, they're rapists or something like that. Well, not rapists, because I'm sure they got lots of rapists in the general population. But they're in a protective block. That's what they're in. And then he goes, Blue. Yep. How long you been here at Lorton? 17 years. He goes, how long would it take you to get from your cell inside a C block cell. 2.5 minutes. He said, how can you get out of your cell that's locked and into their cell that's locked? Been here 17 years. 3 times a day, I watch how the lock mechanisms work. The same guy who said he remembered Wednesday dinner, whatever. He said, I know exactly how to open up my cell. And he says, and I know how to open up any cell in this place. Well, then why don't you do it? Because you'd be in a lot of trouble. It's not worth it to me. Can someone make it worth it to you? Maybe. I was like, shit. I was like, man. Yeah, man. So, yeah, man. So, yeah, so all I got to say is nobody better ever touch my kids because I won't touch you. I just wait for you to go to jail, and then I'll find somebody in jail to take care of you.
Yeah, that's just too
So all I got
scary.
to give them is a couple cartons of cigarettes, and you are snuffed. Done.
Yeah. Well, that's a very interesting. That was quite the experience, and obviously it has really stuck with you.
My God, my God, Lord, thank you. I mean, I can honestly look back at a couple occasions when I was younger that I could have turned bad. You know what I mean? Could have turned bad. One of which is that I never got involved in was fighting, because I was always afraid I was going to hurt somebody. And that's why the guy in front, he said the reason he was in is because he got in a fight at a bar, and it went outside, and he hit a guy, and the guy fell down, cracked his head open on the curb, and died. And he said he went on the run, and he ran for 3 years. And then he decided, I'm going to turn myself in. And he did, and he was sentenced and, all that stuff. Right. But he didn't tell us how long he was in for or any of that kind of stuff. But I keep telling people, when I was working security, I tell these big guys, who walk around and act like they're all tough and shit. I'm like, dude, you do not want to get in an altercation with somebody. First of all, they can't hurt you, man. You're too big. Okay, first of all. But second of all, if you hurt them, and you can hurt them, guess who's going to get in trouble? And when someone says, if you said to somebody self-defense against that little kid, no, it ain't going to work.
Right.
You're not defending yourself against him. So, and I said, and you're going to end up in prison. And guess what? Everybody in prison gets tried.
Yep.
And that was one of the other things that we were told too, Guess what? Most of the people that come in here, unless they got protection, which means unless they're Aryans or they're whatever, he said, and they come in, they get tried. And if you fight and it takes more than a couple of them, they're each going to take their turn. And we're talking sexually, and it's like, and so when someone says, yeah, my uncle's in prison, I know what's been done to your uncle. And I tell these kids, some of these MS-13 dudes, I say, listen, brother, if you go in there,
you do not want to get caught. No. You do not want to go in.
No, you just asking for it, man, because you're gonna be somebody's girlfriend, and that's a guarantee. That is a guarantee. No, my uncle was there. He said that never happened.
Mm-hmm. He didn't
you
tell
think he's going to tell you? Yeah. He's going to tell you, oh yeah, I got raped. Yeah. Oh yeah, he's going to tell you. No, he's not going to tell you. No. None of them are going to tell you. They're all going to say, oh, that doesn't happen. Oh, it happens.
Right.
It happens. And guess what? It's one of those deals where if it happened to me, I'm going to make sure it happened to you.
Right. They're going to pass it down.
All right. I don't know why we've been talking about all this all night long.
But hey,
take care, crazy lady. You're awesome.
See you.
How many kitties you have on the bed now?
I think we're down to one sleeping cat.
Oh, just one sleepy head.
Yeah, the other two.
I like you being on here. They're not walking all over your.
Yeah, it's on a small, tiny on the corner of the desk, and they were going from chair to the bed and back and forth to the window. I had the window open for a while, so they were crossing, but they didn't go up on the laptop. So yeah,
all right, good.
So Friday, probably the laptop's going to sit here all week. I just come in and check on it for work, so keep it out of the way.
All right, sounds good. We'll see you Friday.
Friday, I got to print out the candy.
Yeah, I know. I need to do that too.
I need to get ink for my printer. I found out I went to print it and it was blank, and I'm like, oh, let me try again. Blank.
Mine printed and it printed back and front, and I was like, what is this? I didn't need to do that. Anyway.
So, all right. See you Friday.
Bye.